Starting soon.
Well, see, it was the Saturday show this weekend, isn't it? I don't know what you want to do with all your setup, Phil. You still happy?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Flory Models. Here we are. Sorry, we were yapping. It caught us on the hop.
Well, you never told me you were getting started.
Well, I thought I'd surprise you. We're running 10 minutes late as it is. Right, hello, welcome to the Tuesday live show. Yes, that terrible noise in the background and things saying CPU high usage detected means yes, we are on the old computer. So Steve can't see me. The usual, all the old problems are back again. We'll get the elephant out of the room. To be honest, I am now asking for a refund from Scan Computers. And that's why I got my phone here. So if they phone when we're live on air, then that's it. I'm going to air them and shame them on air. But now they're being very cagey about getting a refund out of them even. Because I've asked for a refund, plain and simple. And they're like, well, no, we're going to try and fix it. And it's like, well, no, because well, it just goes on. I've spoken to them every single day, and every single day they say they're trying something new. To the point now where apparently it's the motherboard, it's a fault with the motherboard, which apparently it had a new one anyway, but they won't put in, they can't put in the same motherboard because they haven't got any. They've only got the upgraded version of it, or the replacement one for it, and they won't put that in because it's more money. Well, it's only another 40, 50 quid, and they won't do it even for customer services. So, and I'm even looking at the wrong camera today because you're on that camera, so... Look, I'm all over the place. I'm all het up. So I spent a total of 2 hours, 48 minutes on the phone to them today, which goes along with pretty much every day when I've been on the phone to them. So Scan Computers, or Scam Computers as I now know them as, don't buy from them. Honestly, their customer service is some of the most appalling I've ever known. It is terrible. And I've asked to speak to the main man, Adam there, and he's away. So you can't even speak to anybody who's in charge. So
Conveniently.
So yeah, the main man, what's his name? Fresno? Adam Fresno. He's a character. He's never there apparently. But yeah, speaking to Sanjay there and Luke, and both of them are absolutely hopeless. So if you ever bought from Scan Computers, just pray you never get a problem with it. Because if you get a problem, that's it. And how they've got a royal appointment seal is beyond me. In fact, I might take a look into that just to know what they did to get that one. Because having worked with other companies who have got them, you have to have a certain level of customer service and that to retain it. So it'd be interesting to see how good they really are. Anyway, on a lighter note, it is Tuesday. We are here, just about. And we'll be answering your questions for the next however long it takes. So anyway, Steve, you all right?
Yeah, not so bad at all.
All good?
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. You know, one way and another.
Yes, very good. Any modelling work been going on?
Yes, there is actually. He said it hadn't been done, but I don't know how well.
Hold on, let me try and get you. I've got to get rid of all these things now. It says high CPU usage. Which one to use? Skyfall. That's it. Go.
Right.
Oh wow, he's really come on.
Yeah, got the old bit of the old winter camo on now.
Fantastic.
So in places, I think I used the heavy chipping fluid and AK stuff, and it were a bit too big. It came off in places, but apart from that, it came off really well. So obviously, it was just 2 coats of the chipping fluid over the top of the main paintwork, and then you can see the white where it's patchy.
Yeah.
So you don't just do it solid white, do it patchy, and then once it were all dry, just use warm water and a brush, and off I went.
Fantastic.
Used the cocktail stick in places. So I've done the figure. I haven't done his head yet.
Yeah.
And then I've done all the. Actually, don't fall over.
The Gatling gun.
There's Gatling gun. I've even done some on the barrel and.
Yeah. No, looking fantastic. Are you enjoying it? Something different?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Actually, getting right into it. So I just need to varnish it now, and then I can start doing the weathering. Because before on the green, I've already put a load of chipping on. So you can see that coming through in places, and then because obviously it'd be all chipped before they put the whitewash over it. That's how I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So I need to do a bit more chipping, maybe put some washes on, and then do a little base, and then on with the snow effects.
Very nice.
Fun.
No.
And then only other thing I've done, it's all in bits over there, but I've painted the A-wing, which I did on the when were it? Last Tuesday's live show
Yeah,
evening.
that's
I
right.
assembled that. There's the tower. So I just
Looking great.
put a bit of grey paint, different shades on, and then it's just had a wash,
Fantastic.
a dark dirt, so it's looking all right.
Mm-hmm.
And the detail's fantastic, really is. The
I must
little
admit,
cannons are
yeah, it does look nice. I must admit, I'm sort of itching to get on with mine now, which moved. They're all over there now, part of my new clean out and everything else.
yeah. Well, I think it just needs now. What I like to do is just go around with a fine brush and just put some little highlights in places, different shades. You know, kind of a general dry brush, but then pick out different light shades.
Little bits. Yeah.
So
Very cool. Excellent.
I've had a delivery fill, so it's helmet collection time.
Oh yeah, go on then.
So we've got you to guess which they are.
Oh God.
So the first one is that one.
Right. Okay. So that is it's like the Mark II clone trooper thing, isn't it?
Whose helmet is it though?
Oh, I don't know.
That
Pass.
one is Commander Bakara's.
Oh right, but that's the prequel ones, isn't it? We don't talk about those, Steve. That's like, you know.
Oh wow.
Not, oh God, you got them all. Now I don't know any of these because I don't watch them.
Oh no. Well, that's the Creator. But that's the 501st Legion.
Ah right.
So by the looks of it, I'm going to have a massive collection if they're doing all the different.
I was going to say, if they're doing everyone, crikey.
It'd be brilliant if they just keep bringing them out.
Yeah, fantastic. So just the 2 this week, was it?
Yeah, you get 2 each month.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not bad.
Fantastic. Very good. Well, for me, apart from obviously cleaning out the entire of the studio, sorry, wrong thing. I have to keep remember I'm not under what's commonly known as main. I'm under a webcam today because it is the webcam. As I say, studio was a massive thing, huge undertaking. Really enjoying the space. Fantastic, actually. It's really nice to be free. It doesn't feel claustrophobic, and I think that's what I was trying to get over when I was talking about it yesterday. Is that I was getting so confined with crap. It's not crap anyway, it's all good stuff, it's what you want to use, but I've just got so much of it all over that it was just like it was encroaching in, and that's what I can't understand for you guys who have like a little mat and piles of stuff each side. You see you know, on your build photos, I couldn't do that, it'd drive me mad. I'm like, push it all back. But it's nice to have the space now, and everything's clean as well, because just general grime and dust, it gets into your paintwork, it gets onto your model, and you get to that certain level, and going around literally cleaning everything, like my airbrush stand, it was absolutely covered in crap and yuck and everything else, right the way down to things like controllers for all the equipment we use and things like that. It was just absolutely nasty. But what it did do is enable me to get on with this guy, and I don't know how well you can see it down here. We've been doing some little bit of weathering and bits and pieces underneath. We've got some oil squirts on. I've literally just fitted these doors underneath, so I have to look like this so you can see both of it. So we've got these lower doors on there now, they're in. The canopy is actually self-locking, it tucks in like the real thing because we know it moves in and out. The hinge on the top, thanks guys, and everything else. So that's in there now. I went around and we've used some lead wire, and I rolled out lead wire like this. This is the 0.4 stuff, I do believe. Is it 0.4? Yeah, it's the 0.4 stuff. If you lay it down and you just wipe it, as in with something tough, like, you know, or just crimp it, you can flatten it out, and then you can use it as wraps to hold cabling in and just pinch them. And because they're lead, they hold themselves, so it's not like you've got to glue it in place or try and get tape to do it. So I'm quite a fan of using the technique. So we went around inside and we put in a little bit more wiring just to liven it all up, take care of that. The harnesses we've got out now. This little bit at the top, you can probably see the brassy bit around the front windscreen. I'm going to leave it brass because I'm going to pretend it is a replacement part. Perhaps it's even had a replacement canopy because we've got this guy as well, which is obviously going to fit in up here. It's looking quite clean on the outside. I don't know if I'm going to weather that in or make it look like a replacement part on there. So it just looks like it's having maintenance and a couple of new bits chucked on it and everything else like that. But generally, as you've seen recently, we're using the other camera close up. Really happy with the way that the actual riveting is still there and still showing through, which was always my worry. And the big thing is, like, I've got all those oils and I had every intention to come in here and use oils with it, but the washers work so well for what I'm after. I'm terrified about going in there in case it changes it, because the trouble with the clay washes, it will rehydrate with anything, so it can actually be oils, you know, enamels, things like that. The clay will actually react to it and start to move. and I don't really want it going anywhere. And I know I could seal it in, but the trouble with the clay wash is it's a bit like chipping effect. If it's wet enough, it gets into it, and as soon as it gets in, it lifts everything around it. So I'm probably going to be a little bit more artistic with the oils, a lot more detailed than I was thinking originally of doing spot techniques and streaking and various things like that. I'm actually quite happy with it. And this stuff on the underside, if you can see it just down there, all that literally is the AK enamel washes. So we just put them in, let them dry a bit, then scrub them, and then literally just going over the top with a little bit of flat black just to give it texture for the exhaust smuts and stains and everything else on it like that. But generally it's coming along really nicely. We've gone along today and I've made all the little latches, which they're a nightmare. I don't know whether the camera can pick them up, but it's got all the latches on these guys and everything else, so they're ready to be fitted on. I've got to do the latches on the side now, get those fitted, then we can actually get it in. And it's actually got cable system which holds these doors open, so it's not being like the weight issue. So it'll sit on there, and there's a cable that goes from the inside to the out, and actually it's like a bracing wire, so it holds them in the open position. So I need to get that fitted onto it. Once that's done, we can think about getting the aerial set on here and everything else like that. We've got the lights on it now, the bits and pieces. What I am probably going to do though is make up the actual weapon racks, just to beef it up a bit, just to make it look quite beefy. So I'm not going to put any ordnance on them, but I am going to install them onto it just to give it a bit more of a look. But generally, as you can see, we are really pushing on with this one now. It's actually coming to the end. And I have to say, considering it's our super build and we're up to part 14, I actually edited part 14 yesterday, it is, you know, been quite a relatively straightforward build. It's gone together really, really well and everything else. So I must admit, we are enjoying it, absolutely thoroughly enjoying it. But saying that, I am looking forward to getting on with just some normal stuff, like the tank, the Bandai stuff. It's going to be pretty straightforward build doing the F1 Mitsubishi as well, and things like that. So hopefully we'll all be pretty much getting on with it all. So let me just stick this over here. There we go. All on this. So as I said, Tuesday, it's all about you guys, your questions for me and Steve. So I'm gonna have to use my phone today.
Yeah, well, just while I do that, Phil, I just want to thank Eric Newbold, because he sent us a huge album on Photobucket of a load of reference pictures for the Dolphin.
Oh right, absolutely.
Really up to date, and he's also he says you should be getting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sent some paint chips over for the correct shade of orange in the interior colour as well.
Ah, fantastic.
So they're going via FedEx. So because apparently the orange is not like what we've got; it's completely unique shade for the Coast
so
Guard.
perhaps it is something a little bit different.
Yeah, and he's got try and locate some nice stickers to put on the base for it.
Yeah.
So just to bring it to life and add a bit of thing. Whether he's able to find some, I don't know, but so he's been very kind on that.
Ah, right, absolutely. Speaking of which, we do have to thank Mr. Monet Renner Paints. That's why it's not Mr. Paint, everyone. That's his name, turns out. And we have got a little bit of an exclusive here, which is that exclusive, which I can actually say that there is going to be a brand new UK stockist of the Mr. Paints, or Monet Renner Paints, or however you want to pronounce it. They are going to be in literally 3 to 4 weeks, the entire lot. Okay, so no longer do we have to wait to try and get them in either from, is it Slovakia, I think they come from? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
And anything else like that. So as you said, I got in all of these ones just to have a play. I got mainly colours I haven't got, that's what I did, but I'd like to get hold of some other stuff, you know, the general stuff as well, just to see how good this stuff is. But from my point of view, I wanted to get all those colours you can't normally get. So we've got like Russian cockpit turquoise, and we've got another cockpit Sequoia grey cockpit colour, and all those weird colours where you can't necessarily get in anything else. The flanker colours, and obviously me and Steve both got a set each to do in our SU-33s of the actual blues as well for the Navy flanker and everything else. So hopefully, you know, these are going to be as good as I said. But speaking to a few people, and actually speaking to the guys earlier, you do have to shape these up extremely well. They've got ball in there to get them going, but apparently you need to shake these to 1 inch of the life to make sure they're thoroughly mixed. It is one of the key secrets with these. But I can exclusively reveal, here in the UK, we're going to have our very own distributor who will keep good stocks of this as well. Because let's face it, the guy who's selling them at the moment, he's naff. So, but this guy who's taking these ones on, I can vouch with. They are absolutely going to be fantastic and really, really nice. As soon as we get more details, i.e. when he's got it in, the store and everything else is set up and everything else like that, I will let you know. It's not me, before everyone starts thinking it's me. It's nothing to do with me, but you will know him, everyone. So, but as I say, we can't say anything yet until it's all been confirmed in writing in the various bits and pieces. So as soon as that arrives and turn up, obviously we'll let you know who it all is. I'm going to do probably a little bit of a play with them back end of the week and do the proper on test with them next week. So there we go. Right, that's all the bits done. Okay, so if I go on my phone, I've already looked through the questions. There's some massively long questions in there. It's like, really? It's like an essay, especially when you're trying to read them on your phone.
You need to get that iPad Pro.
Yeah, I know.
But then again, they should have a normal. They're overdue a normal one, aren't they?
Well, the thing is, we've got iPads in this house. The stupid thing is, but as we proved last time, me trying to use Mel's iPad is like no chance because she's got about 8 million tabs open. Okay, right. One thing I'm going to do, just talk to a minute, Steve. I need to open the window because I'm so hot in here.
In case anyone's wondering, I'm just putting a coat of varnish on my Gundam figure. So I like to do something while I'm just sat here. This way I can crack on and get the weathering done later on today.
Oh, sorry about the background noise, guy. If you hear any noise, it is literally just because the other computer, the whole point of getting a new computer was to really have something a little bit more powerful for doing all this streaming work, you know, and obviously it was a bit for me for gaming as well, but also it was water cooled, so it was quieter. That thing now is blowing its brains out over there, so that's why I was going for a new one. But fear not, as soon as I get a refund out of them, which, trust me, I'm going to bug them every day until I do, and then as soon as we have, we'll get something else sorted.
You want to get in touch with Citizens Advice as well, that'll soon.
Well, to be honest,
and your credit card company, they'll put
they all will. They'll all put huge pressure on them.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have got a couple of our members who have already spoken to me about it, who are actually solicitors and barristers and things. So they've all given me some great feedback and information on what I need to quote and what I need to say and various things. So a big thank you to all you guys for that. But as you say, it's just, you know, scan computers, their customer service, it's like they tell you one thing and then they forget to tell you they've told you. Like the bit where they told me they were going to do what they call a core swap. Don't believe that if they tell you that, because that apparently means they're going to take everything out of your case and put all new in. Okay, so they told me they did that when it first went back. So as soon as it comes back, we're going to do a core swap for you, Mr. Flory. And then literally today, I was told we're going to do a core swap for you. And I'm like, didn't you do that last week and it still had problems? You said you did a core swap and then it went on test. And then it failed the test over the weekend, so you need to look at it further. And then it turns out you said it was the processor, then you said it was the motherboard, and then you said it was the BIOS, and now you're saying it's the RAM, bearing in mind it's already had the RAM changed twice. So this is the third set of RAM in it that apparently doesn't work. So there's obviously a flaw with their entire build, which, actually, look, shall I be really mean? That's because it's still on my computer here somewhere. There it is, right, okay. Oh God, don't do that. Okay, so if you don't want to buy this, this is the system that we actually went for. See the price of it? This isn't cheap, everyone. Look at it, £2,759 for this system. It's not a cheap system, okay? Yes, it does have the VR, but that was my personal bit into this. But the whole point is the computer was high end. They've also told me that this system should not be on the website because it's not in stock. But again, if you look, it says in stock. And they've told me that this system, because the motherboard is not working, or there's something wrong with the motherboard in this system, that it's not actually available for sale. So if you are thinking of buying one, don't buy this one. Go to a reputable company who won't fob you off. Okay, so that is the thing. But that is the system that we've bought, and well, they've had it back now, so we haven't even got it. So that's why I'm quite niffed at the moment, because I said if it had been a 600 quid computer, okay, fair enough, you expect problems, but not when you're paying almost £3,000 for one, you don't, okay? So there we go, rant over.
Yeah, but when you're paying that amount of money for a custom built thing, you expect expert on-call advice. So if there's a fault within the first 12 months,
Yeah.
They're done. You shouldn't be having this. It's, it's normal people don't spend all that amount of money.
No. And that, to be honest, when you read all their crap about them, about, they've got a 99% customer satisfaction, and obviously they've got a royal seal, and they've got this, that, and the other.
Which royal seal is it?
It's the Queen's.
So
Yeah, by appointment of Her Majesty the Queen. So she must have bought a laptop one day. It does make you wonder. But you trust all their stuff, and then honestly, they haven't got a clue. To the point where I'm telling them things, and it's like, well, we can try that. And why am I even telling you? I don't even know how a computer really works. I'm useless at this stuff. I just know how they actually to use one. I don't know how to make one, and how to tweak one and everything else like that. But yeah, apparently there's a problem with the motherboard, and it's like, right, we've had all this. Anyway.
Basically, they haven't a clue what's wrong.
No, they don't know what's wrong with it, and I've actually said to them, right, okay, if you don't know what's wrong with it, let's just have a new unit. Just send me a new one, and let's be done with it. And I even said to them, even if it's like a bit more expensive, I don't mind paying the extra. And they said, well, we'll put you onto our sales team. Put me onto sales. And they were like, no, you don't need anything more because you're going to be paying another 300 quid for something you're not going to use. So that's the best system for it. So then they handed me back, and I'm like, well, look, have you got anything there? Well, no, we haven't got anything at all. So it's like, right, okay, brilliant. But as you say, you're just told rubbish and expected to believe it. And I can imagine how people just get so frustrated and they walk away from it. I have spent best part of as you say, today it was like another 3 hours messing around with them. Yesterday, again, it was another couple of hours messing around with them. If you tot it up, I've lost days now trying to sort out this computer and all the rest of it. Not to mention phone calls, travel time when I drove all the way back from bloody Bridgewater to be here for their engineer who never showed up. And then go back again, so it's absolutely terrible. Anyway, on a modelling note, we have, this is from Gary Bishop. Hi Phil and Steve, hope you guys have had a good weekend. Mine was great. That was until I bought a 1/16 scale tank, or at least I will when I get done typing this. Don't really have a question. Just something I noticed. I was working on my 1/32 Harrier trumpeter kit, the Tiger tank diorama that I'm doing, or at least planning on doing. I've got the main parts of the tank set up, somewhat along the lines with a foam wall. I think it's supposed to be foam wall. And notice how much bigger the Harrier is compared to the Tiger tank, which is 1/35 scale. Well, to make a long story short, I wish you would. I already thought that the Tiger tank was big, but seems that today's aircraft are just a lot bigger, and was just surprised by the size difference. Any of you guys, I guess it would be a really small next to 1/32 Tomcat. Have a great show, guys. Gary. There is that thing. Aircraft are big, very deceptive. When they're in the air, they're small because they're far away. Ted.
Here you go, Phil. I can show you that. Well, there's the 1/35 Dolphin.
Yeah.
And if I'm careful, put that against the Abrams.
Yeah.
Seat size difference.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you think, the Dolphin isn't a big helicopter.
No.
In the great scheme of things. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Good to have them on hand.
Yes, it is. I thought I was going to have to get my Tomcat down and a Tiger. What have I got in there? Oh, other things. Get me Abrams out. But yes, no, definitely a bit of a thing. That's why if you're thinking of doing dioramas, don't do a 1/35 scale aircraft, as they take up a lot of room. Okay, this is Dennis. Dennis says, hi guys, got a couple of questions about washes. Do enamel washes have to dry completely before removing them with white spirit, or need to be still tacky? I'm having a hard time removing the AK enamel washes from acrylic paint. I had to flood an AK wash over Vallejo model colour, so much that the AK odorless white spirit that the acrylic paint started to come off too. As far as I understand, oil washes have to be dry. Steve?
No. Well, first of all, always seal your paint first with acrylic varnish. When you apply the wash, there's a couple of ways you can do it. My preferred one is I'll put the wash on, I'll get my paintbrush, dip it in white spirit, and then kind of move the wash around so I get it in the nooks and crannies. Also, kind of give it a filter over the top as well, so you're getting all the grime in there. As I go along, I'll wipe excess off on a bit of kitchen roll, kind of a bit of kitchen roll on my lap, so I can just quickly wipe it off and carry on. But you can also let it dry, and then just get a cotton bud and rub it off. You don't need to go on afterwards with white spirit and start wiping it off, because I don't know why, but when it dries, it's just so easy to wipe off the cotton bud or a dry bit of rag. And that's a good way. Quite often, I'll just put it on, like on an aircraft, just let it dry and just go over afterwards and just wipe it off the raised details.
That's it. To be honest, really on this one is, I've got my 190 up now, Steve. Under here, I didn't seal it either. I literally just went straight in with the wash over the paint. And I've literally just slipped it down on there. Now, the way I did that one is to literally, I put down a very thin coat of enamel wash first. Of enamel thinners first. So literally all I do is come along with my enamel brush, here it is. Dip it into the thinners, rub it all off on some kitchen towel so there's nothing on it, then I rub it over the surface it's going to go onto, then I put the wash onto it, and it seems to flow like crazy. It gives a nicer look to it. It gets in everywhere, a bit like Steve was saying about a bit of thinners on your brush and going around dragging it around. I think it does the same thing. And then what I do is literally just streaking down onto it, and that's how we got that type of effect under there, to give it that sort of grimy, crappy engine dumping oil stroke everything out the bottom look. Okay, so literally just to go around with it. And to be honest, it still needs a little bit more colour in there. I'd like it to make it a little bit more brown, a little bit more engine oily. So I've got the old engine oil one down in here, aircraft engine oil, and it's a nice sort of muddy brown colour, and it will go down and it streaks down really well. But I haven't had a problem with it going over. But the thing is, like I've learned with all the enamel washes, is that you can really get them, liven them up again. If you just come along with a brush into your thinners, dry it all off, and then put it on and work lightly over it, all of a sudden it just releases and it wipes away really easy. So you can actually get it back to having nothing on there if you wanted to. So you don't need to sort of necessarily scrub at it. It's just, it seems to have that thing where it softens it, and then all of a sudden it just wipes away. And it's quite easy to sort of get off or manipulate or maneuver around or rehydrate. So in some ways it works very similar to the clay from that point of view.
Yeah, usually as well, it will take a good 3-4 days to fully dry. But if you leave it overnight, 24 hours, so it's touch dry, you can then put a varnish to seal it, and you won't need bad problems. But also, don't go buying these expensive small bottles of odorless thinner that these manufacturers sell. Best stuff I find is Artist's white spirit. It's low odor, and I don't know, it just seems a bit more.
That's the one I've been using, but only because I've had this floating around for years.
Yeah, but and you get the same price, you'll get a big bottle of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not, I know the cheapest stuff really is your DIY stuff, but when you're using it for a long time, you'll feel it hitting back in your throat and up your nostrils. It's awful.
It's pretty whiffy stuff.
Yeah, but Artist stuff's really good, low odor thinner.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I say, that's nice. It's low odour. You don't even smell it. That's the whole point. I don't actually come in here afterwards and think, somebody's had the chemicals out. It's really good for that. Which is something where if you just use the small pots of like enamel thinners, which AK do, pigment fixers, stuff like that, because that's all it is. They stink. Absolutely stink.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, Mark says, hi guys, slightly long question. Oh God, they're all like it today. About Alec panel line scrapers. Are we talking, which ones are we talking? Are we talking the, where are they? Oh God, I've moved them. You might. Are we talking the holly ones? The ones like the claw? Or are we talking different ones? Don't know. See, look at how I'm putting things back. It says something to do it afterwards. Okay, so anyway, about Alec panel line scrapers. How do you guys use them? I found the finished rescribing. I've just finished rescribing the wonderful Airfix Vulcan. Yeah. I scribed the panel lines with the tool at 90 degrees. The plastic and was finding it the cleared material was creating a ridges along the scribe line. At first I was sanding these down, but filled up the scribe lines, so I need another pass with the scriber. After I was happy, I ran some extra thin over the line to melt any small loose material and smooth out the scribed area. Since I have found if I run the scriber at 60 degrees to the plastic, it cleans up the ridges along the walls. I have to be careful though, as the scriber can jump out and run across the plastic. Basically, what technique do you use when scribing? Could I be doing it a better way? Keep up the great work, thanks. Right, okay, well the thing is with all scribing, again, it's one of those things, don't push down, just drag, okay? That's my biggest technique and thing I can teach people, is that the thing is, if you've got any type of scribing tool, a lot of people for some reason push down and they're sort of dragging it. The trouble when you're doing that is it's trying to chisel down in, and that's when you get, sometimes it does the sort of judder effect, and it's actually having a hard time sort of carving, I suppose, want of a better word, the panel line in. If you just put it on the surface and drag it neatly, you should get a very nice light fine panel line, and then you can obviously go back down it. As soon as you've got one in, you can go over it and over it to get the depth you want, and obviously the draw. The trouble with those Alec ones is they're very, very thin. Okay, so the thing is that it's not necessarily going to clear material like a traditional scriber, like the UMM one perhaps, or a P cutter, because what they actually do is put a chisel blade in and carve out one. Those Alec ones are extremely thin, so you're going to put in a very thin panel line, and that's probably where you're getting the differences. If you're going to go slightly to one side, you're actually creating a panel which is probably taking off one of the high edges. But also, if you're getting a situation where, you know, you're going along and you're getting sort of the valley effect, that's because you're pushing and it's actually lifting material on the side as it's digging its way through. Again, very light passes should take out a perfect channel all the way through. Personally, I prefer the UMM scriber. Under small tools. This technically is my sort of go-to scriber at the moment, which is the UMM one. I've got the other one now, I haven't tried the other one, but this is my go-to one. And again, it is that thing. I'll grab a bit of plastic card here. You know, when you're in here, sorry I haven't got the overhead cameras, but we haven't got any cameras today, but when you're coming in, you'll notice with your first pass it's very, very light, but you can get the spiral as you bring it along, but it should feel smooth. You shouldn't be in there. If you start pushing down, you sort of get in that sort of pushing the trench and you're getting the sidewalls come up, and that's what you're probably saying. If you get on the side slightly, you can get a better pull because you're actually taking the top of it out. The trench is slightly off angle, which from our scale point of view, you probably couldn't tell the difference. But when you run your finger over there, you can probably feel it, but literally you're just going in, light, and you can sort of do this back and forth motion, and you won't actually feel the ridge. I don't know if you can even see that, but you know, you can actually put the panel scriber in, and if you go down and you sort of just run back and forth, I can't feel the trench. Yet if I go in and push down and go one, I can feel, if you can hear it, you can actually feel the trench on the side. So it's literally that little bit of pressure, it's just forcing it up a little bit. So you just want to make your scribing a little bit lighter. And the great thing about doing it lighter, you can just do multiple passes until you're happy with the depth, and that way you can have anything from an extremely fine panel line to a trench, and anything you want to do in between. Steve, what do you reckon?
Well, I can't really, I'm still watching what you've been doing.
Oh, right.
Being delayed up. I tend to use that UMM one and the Tamiya one as well. Well, the best thing I like about the UMM one is that because it's got that long, thin blade, pointy bit, it's brilliant for going over round edges because you can kind of push it in the groove and then curve it over, especially on. Yeah, it's a fantastic tool. As for the Alec one, I don't know that one at all.
Yeah, it is. The thing is with the Alec one, it is extremely fine. It's very, very thin. As I say, I've only got the one size. To be honest, I was sent it to test. But the thing is with it, when you're doing it, it's, I don't know if you can see the blade tip on there, it's absolutely minute, it's a tiny little thing. But when you're coming in and you draw it in, don't get me wrong, it's really nice, but as soon as you put downward pressure, you can almost feel it vibrating. So, but it does do an exceptionally nice panel, but you are right, you do get a little raised edge. Let me try it with a bit of pressure. But the great thing about these is, if you want to do a very fine, very precise panel line, I mean literally you wanted to put a little box or something else like that, this guy is great because it gets in there because you can see exactly where it is, because that point is so fine and so minute, okay? But this is the 0.15, which is absolutely tiny, it's ridiculously thin. You know, compared to most scribers, I think are probably 2 and 3 mil, things like that. So yes. A lot of it also with scribing, it comes with practice. It's not something where you can literally just grab a scriber and rescribe everything. It's just knowing the finesse. It's a bit like, I know I say about it, but sanding. A lot of people I see still sand and they're pushing down as they're sanding instead of just let the sander do the work. And that way you can take a heavy duty grit sanding stick and do something quite delicate like a canopy with it, because you're not gouging the hell out of it, you're letting the sander do all the work instead of physically pushing into doing it. Because the trouble is, as soon as you start pushing, you generate heat. When you generate heat, it softens the plastic and then you get roll up and everything else like that. When you're scribing as well, you just want to be taking, you know, multiple passes just to go everywhere. And the other thing as well, when you're pushing you know, down onto it and dragging it across, if it does jump, it makes massive amounts of damage. Yeah, if you're doing very light scribing passes, if it jumps off, technically you've hardly done anything. A couple of passes with a fine sanding stick, you'll remove any damage you'll make, okay? So just take your time with it and learning about it. But the other thing is, you might be thinking 60 degrees. If it's working for you, then go for it. You know, carve everything at sort of 60-degree angles. Personally, I must admit, I'm more of a 90-degree guy right on the top, putting it through and everything else like that. Steve's just fallen off his chair. Or has he done a bunk around the corner? Oh no, he's done a bunk. Oh God, he's got his legs out. Okay, next question. Sorry, you couldn't hear me, everyone, because you know his headphones in.
Yeah. No, my telly were on, and I thought, oh, buggy might be, right. People might be hearing it, so I thought I'd turn it off.
That's probably more interesting than us. Okay,
probably.
So probably.
Escape to the country.
People are watching us anyway. 98 people are watching us. Crikey, why are you lot all at work? Hey up, the new neighbours have turned up over the road. Turn the camera around.
Yeah, let's have a nosy.
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, they've been moving in now for the last 6 months. I kid you not. They've not actually moved in, but they bring a bit up every sort of so often. It's like the Golden Girls, personally. Right, okay, so Bruno says, hi Phil, if I remember well, you said that in one of your builds, one of the Tackham chieftains, you said you'd be building one of the Tackham chieftains. Is this still, is it still in your projects? I hope so, because I bought the Chieftain Mark V in an exhibition on Saturday, and we'll be pleased to have an ideal build to help me, as I'm not really into tanks and armoured vehicles. I'm sure that your help and Steve, I'm sure that with your help, and Steve's he means, I'll be able to make something nice. I hope your PC is back. No, and it never will be now. And that you're pleased with it. Don't go there. Yes, I am going to start on the actual Chieftain. I'm going to do the Mark 10. And I'm going to do it in the Berlin colours, purely so I can have a go with the weathering and all the rest of it. This guy, if I wasn't doing this, I'd have this finished today. What I'm probably going to do is maybe put some of the bits on, and then I'm going to put that to a side, because you guys are about a week behind me on this one. The next part of this will be up with you tomorrow, and then it's probably going to be Monday before you've caught up with me. So what I'm going to do is spend the rest of the week working on the Chieftain, because it'd be nice, clear and space and everything else like that. So once the weathering's on, it's going to have a break, mini break, just for a couple of days, just to dry off, and then I'll come back to doing it. And in the meantime, I'm going to push flat on with the actual tank, going to get it together really quickly as a whole and everything else like that, and then hopefully by maybe as early as next week we can get it into paint. So it's not going to be a full-on detailed thing like this has been. It's going to be an overall build, and to be honest, I'm pretty much going to build it as a whole before we actually get near paint. So I'm not going to be painting subsections. I'm going to have it all done as a whole, then we're going to paint it, because obviously the different paneling and the various bits and pieces, that's going to be easier to do on that one. So fear not, it will be with you this week. So part one of that will be up with you next week. Okay, so John says, hi Phil and Steve, do you know the background tail colour used on the 41st Squadron aircraft. It appears to be white with the red graphics on the box art and the instructions, but it's not identified in the paint callouts. Checking the Squadron's website did not show photos of the GR9 Harriers, just Tornadoes. I'm building in 144 scale. Thanks for the Harrier kit review last week. No problem, John. We're talking, that's the one with the white tail with the red double cross thing, isn't it? I can't remember its actual name now, what that symbol is. Terrible, I know. I thought, actually, there's a story to this. I'm now, quote me, I could be wrong here, but wasn't that some type of Ford white they used for doing that? I think it was something along those lines. I'm pretty sure one of our members here was telling me many years ago this was, that it's actually something, it's either fridge white or like Ford Escort white or something they used on it to spray that white on the tails of those things. That was for the Tornado, so I'm not too sure about the actual Harriers. In that scale, I'm pretty sure you just get away with using normal white, just because that's all it is. At the end of the day, it's just normal white paint with the red. Oh, great. And now here comes a delivery. Right, Steve, can you talk for a minute? I've got a delivery just turned up.
Yeah, well, I'm just got to find the decor. I've got the decor.
Oh, have you got the decor sheet? So if that's on there.
I think it's on there.
Right, okay.
I've just got to go through a big pile of decors to find it.
Right, okay. I'm hoping Mel is here, because she is here, but she's unwell, bless her. She's not feeling too great today.
If she's in bed laying down and you expect her to answer the door, you sure?
Yeah, hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah. Right, where is it?
Are you worried?
There's too many decors.
It's all right, she's up. It's okay. Panic over, she's up.
So I found them, Phil. I've got that many.
Have you found them?
Ah.
Mind your head.
It wasn't my head, it would rip me ear.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, look, you find that. I'll carry on with the next question. Okay, Jeff Nielsen says, hi Phil and Steve, received my orders of sanders and washes and they are excellent products. My question is, do you have an update on when the pigments will be available as a set? They look fantastic, but being in the States, I would like to order them as a set. The site is awesome as always. I get a laugh with you too. Good. Keep up the great work. Thanks and take care, Jeff. To be honest, Jeff, I keep looking at cameras, force of habit. I haven't heard anything, which is usually a good sign. They're pretty good at keeping us updated if it's going to be late. As we explained before, we have them made for us, and we are just a small cog in a massive company. So what happens is they fit us in. When they do production runs for probably people like, I don't know, Dulux, and then they have like, so many million kilos of the stuff, and we turn around and say, oh, can we have 25 kilos please, with this colour, that colour, that colour. They have to sort of slot us in, so we have to allow a 6 to 10 week lead. And as I said, it was a bit of a cock up because we had it and it came in, it was the wrong colour. They got the shade colour wrong, so we had to have it redone. So they have to start up production again. But I can't afford for them to do what they call a shutdown reset and then do ours, because it's thousands of pounds, to be honest, for them to do that. So what happens is they have to finish a run, then they do ours, then they do the next one. So you're sort of waiting in line. As soon as it arrives, guys, honestly, I'll talk about it, I'll put it on the site, on the forum and everything else like that, and we'll then get them shipped out to you. I'm thinking it's got to be in the next couple of weeks, so don't panic. It's literally any time soon, but they're a very good company, and normally if there's a problem and a delay, they tell us. If we don't hear anything, usually everything's good. Okay, so you all right?
Yeah, I've got every scheme bar that one.
Oh, bar that one.
Because I thought we were on my retirement scheme.
Yeah.
Sheets. But it's similar to tail, but as you can see, it's
yeah.
where my thumb is.
Ah, right, yeah.
It's another red and white one.
Yeah.
It's not that one. That's one squadron.
Yeah. I should think really, when you're doing it in 144 squadron, you can't exactly lighten it anymore, can you, for the scale effect? So I would just go literally with a normal white. I don't think it's anything but. Looking at it, I've been up close to those aircraft before. I've got videos of the Tornado. Actually, I did a walk around with the Tornado in those markings, and I'm pretty sure it's just white. Could be wrong. If anyone knows any different, post up in the forum, guys. Okay, so Tony says, good day one and all. Having just started to collect the Bandai Star Wars figures, I wonder if anybody's managed to locate the backstands.
Oh, I hope.
Go on, shall we go? Hello? It is, speaking. Hello there.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, fine, thank you. So how are we doing?
Right, so I've got a solution where we've got a pre-tested bundle already. So we can put that into your system and get that shipped out tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, right, so you're going to ship it out tonight to me, yeah?
Yeah, so basically this bundle's already tested with an overclock on there. There's the same motherboard, CPU and memory on there.
Yeah.
So that's already tested with an overclock on there, because that's why we needed another day to test it to make sure the overclock fits. So that's already tested, so we can put that into your system and get that out tonight or tomorrow.
Right, okay, yeah, if we can do that then and it works, I'll be happy and we can draw a line under all of this. If it doesn't, God help you.
Alright, so make sure everything's okay with it. So if we okay to do that, I'll get that sorted out.
Alright, that'd be great. Thank you
Only
very
by
much.
lunchtime, Phil.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye-bye. There you go, you all heard that. I've now
Yeah.
got witnesses around the world that have said it's coming tomorrow and it's been checked and done. I'm not holding my breath at all because, I'd say, the only reason they're being nice now is because we've actually asked for a full refund and all the rest of it, which I have asked and they're still sending it. But my deal with them was, and I have to say, if it wasn't shipped tonight, I want my refund. So that's why, all of a sudden, oh look, we can do it. There we go, live on air. Scan, Sanjay from Scan Computers, everybody. Anyway, watch this space. I don't believe you'll trust it for a second, you know? Give it up now. Okay,
Well, things to do, Phil, is if it don't work, you have any more problems, you just want to get the guy who's a solicitor on the forum, say to him, any chance you can just do us a favour and get him to say, right, I'm so you can come and collect this and issue him a refund, because it sounds better when it comes from
a proper solicitor. Yeah, definitely. Right, okay, sorry, we were talking about the backstands for the Bandai kits. These are the ones that plugs in the lower spine, you can hold them. He says, it's illustrated on the instructions, but does not seem to be in any of the sprues. All the best, Tone. Yeah, it's an optional extra. All the Bandai ones, you can buy them. Like, does yours have it in your kit, Steve, for that thing? For your Gundam
I don't
Man?
think so, no.
I'm pretty sure mine does. That's the weird thing. I'm sure, I don't know, I can't remember doing the review now, it's been a million miles away, but I'm pretty sure mine does. What happens is that you can either, you know, you get the plate with the little peg, and you can, well, it's not a peg on those, it's a foot thing, and you can put it in, or the other way is you can actually have them with either black or clear, and it comes up. The idea with that is you can pose them like running, or like jumping and various things like that. It's technically a posable stand that it sort of comes up the back. Some of them just have them out the back and they just prop them up, you know, but they're an optional extra. You can actually buy them. They do some very ornate ones for the bigger stuff, the big Gundam stuff, that actually, so you can pose them, because obviously with the Gundam stuff, with all the jet packs, rocket packs and everything else on there, you know what they're like. They tend to be a little bit, you know, sort of flamboyant. You need a stand to show them off quite nicely, so that's why they sort of come with them. These figures, I think it's just a rollover from Bandai that all the figures have those little plug-in bits, but it is an optional extra on those, I'm afraid. Okay, so Jeff Williams says, hi Phil and Steve, Hans has just recently posted the last of the SIGs for the year 2016. Will we have some excellent themes to close, we will have some excellent themes to close out the year. Phil, are you and the guys talking internally on what the next round of group builds and SIGs will be for the coming year? I really enjoyed trying to participate in them, and really helps me push my creative juices. Otherwise, I will probably build an F-14. Oh yes, Jeff, the F-14 man, all the time. That will probably happen anyway, but I'm curious on what you guys are batting around for the next round of group builds and SIGs. All the best. Keep up the great work that you do. Modelling group, the best modelling group on the interweb. And then Hans has chipped in. We have to get him on the show here. This is it.
I know, he chips in.
Yeah, he chips in, but I can't chip him in here. Get him in here one day. Okay, so Hans has said, Jeff, the team will consider together in the next few months via a Skype to flush out the next set of scheduled group builds and SIGs, which will be published in November. This time should help all with the planning of getting some Christmas goodies for the planned schedule. We will kick off the next set in early January after the 2016 schedule has been completed. All the members are back off the Christmas holidays. There you go. That's the official line. The other one is, well, we're going to do the A10 one, aren't we?
Yeah, that's first one of the year.
So the first one of the year, because me and Steve made an executive decision, forgot to tell Hans, unless he watched it, of course, but we did say live on the Saturday show the other day, wasn't it, that we would do the A10 as a super build, so it would be a SIG as well. Which is a problem actually, because that's only going to be 6 months to do it all, but we'll be fine. So that is going to be my one. It's not even down here anymore, is it? What have I done with it? Oh, it's up there. Right. God, panic over. So yeah, that's going to be, me and Steve are going to do our A10s. Hans is going to obviously have to do one, so we have no choice. And that is the plan with that one. As for group builds, we haven't actually thought of anything yet. We quite like what's happened with the Japanese one, haven't we? We were saying about that's worked really well. Because obviously, I must be an animal, to be honest. It was a nightmare from start to finish. But we were thinking that, when we do pick a country, everybody can do something. Japan particularly is a really good one because you've got a lot of the sci-fi and anime stuff and all bits and pieces as well. But, doing countries as well, I thought was really well. We have done, if I remember rightly, we did a Russian one, didn't we?
Yeah, we've done Russian,
we did the American one, didn't we? Because we did like sort of red
America
versus blue and things like that. But with all the group builds, we try and make them so everybody can enter. That is the point. We want as many as you to enter into the group builds as possible. We don't want it to be a thing where, I can't enter that, I'm not into any of those things. So by doing a country and things like that, generally everybody gets a chance to enter something into it. But needless to say, as I said, Hans, we will all get down on Skype one night and we'll thrash out a load of ideas. But again, if you've got any ideas you think would be a good group build, good SIG, things like that, then obviously just let us know and we'll take it under careful consideration.
Yeah, we'll have to have a little thread so people put really good ideas.
Yeah, that's it. But recently we've had some real good ones, I think. This year especially, I know it cost me a fortune. I used to set a budget. I'll let you into a little secret. When we do the group builds and things like that, I used to set a budget of 1,800 quid for actually what it costs to run one. That was the budget. So when it actually came in at over £3,000 this year, it was a little bit more than I usually have budgeted for. So never mind. I now re-budget them like that. So especially this one, which is definitely going to cost more than the last one did. So this one's going to cost us, I reckon, getting near £4,000 to do. Never mind. All good. So anyway,
but if you do make your suggestions, SIGs obviously speaks for himself. It can be a particular aircraft, tank, or like that. But like Phil said, for group builds, you have to think that every single genre of modelling can participate.
Yeah.
So from your sci-fi to your navy to armour, aircraft, cars,
painters,
so everybody can join in.
Yeah. So you can't just say, it's like as a SIG, as in something quite specific like space race or something. Because with SIGs you can be a little bit more specific, like space race, things like that. But group builds, it has to incorporate everybody that we do on the site. So as Steve says, it's got to be military, civilian, armour, vehicles, figures, and as much as we can, because obviously we like to get as many people involved in them as possible. And it's great, especially like the Japan one. I've loved this one just because when I float around and look at your work and the various bits and pieces, it's great because it's so diverse. You've got everything in there, and that's what I love about it. It's literally, you can, one day you're looking at somebody who's done a Gundam, the next thing you're looking at somebody who's done a car, the next thing you're looking at a figure, and then you've got the more traditional stuff like your aircraft, your armour and everything else like that. But it's a real nice diversity to see all of that. Right, okay, Alan says, hi chaps, Phil, I know you've moved on from Steinor Res as your primer, but I've got loads of the stuff. I was wondering if you could thin it slightly with anything other than IPA, as demonstrated in one of your videos. X20 or Mr. Colour perhaps. I haven't tried it, to be honest. I have tried it with X20, and yes, it does thin it, but it doesn't do it well. It's not as easy flowing. IPA just does the trick every time. I probably wouldn't put Mr. Colour thinners into it because that's cellulose. Because it's an acrylic, a lot of the times if you try and mix an acrylic with a cellulose, it turns to glue. so I would avoid doing that one. But again, I haven't tried it personally. Best to give it a little bit of a go. Do a little tiny batch. Don't do a bottle, you know, a cupful. Do a tiny little bit, and just even in a pallet, if you've got, you know, just a foil lid or something else like that, just to see how it works. Leave it for a few minutes as well. Just don't give it a work and think, oh, that's thin. Let it stand, because sometimes it thickens up and everything else like that. So that was the one.
Why don't we try it?
What, now?
Yeah, why not?
Well, have you got some there? Because I haven't got any here.
Yeah, I've got my Steinel resin now. I'll try it now in a little pot.
Yeah, try your Steinel res. So we want to try a little bit of X20A, see what happens to that, and we want to see a little bit of lacquer thinners in it as well.
Right.
Give that a whirl.
Just put him on there. I bet he falls off.
Right, so Steve will get on with that one. We'll just move on for a sec. Okay, so Robert says, hi Phil, I have a question for Steve. I'll tell you what.
Hang on.
I'll come back to that question. Go on, you do that and I'll come back to it.
Yeah, okay.
Because the one below it's all right. Okay, so Barry says, hi guys, Phil, what is the make of the super glue with the brush that you've been using on your 190? Yeah, it is just Zappa the small one. It is the baby one. So this is the medium viscosity. The part number is PT100. This is 0.25 grams or what? Sorry, 0.25 fluid ounces or 7 grams. Now, secret, I've got gallons of the big bottles, which I've got rid of. You know my big ones I normally use? What I've been doing is putting a squirt of the big one into the little one. And that way it's great because the brush doesn't go rock hard. You can brush it on. To be honest, it's how I put all these doors and that on. Brush full, stick it on, good to go. Okay, no problem at all. It's pretty good. It's not totally drop proof because I did knock it over yesterday and spilt super glue everywhere, so that's why I've got it burnt off me mat. But it does do quite a good job, and it is quite nice. And the great thing as well is because it's such a small quantity, it keeps it fresh. As we know, super glue's got a bit of a life. So as soon as I do run out with my big, I don't know, whatever they are, 50ml bottles or whatever, I am going to get these because these little tiny ones. You can get them on Amazon. I don't think there are so much around the modelling sites, the normal ones. I haven't seen them, but Amazon, eBay, things like that, the small ones you can do. But this is the medium one, which is the green, because different colours have different viscosities. But it's called Zappa Brush On. Okay, so but yeah, really handy, very nice. The only thing is you can knock it over really easy. It has got like an anti-drip top on it a little bit, but it's not the best design in the world, shall we say. So just be careful you don't knock it over. It would have been better if it was in a square bottle or something, to be honest. Right, how are you getting on?
Just put the paint in the pots, but I'm just got to put a bit of masking tape on so we know it's the Tamiya one.
Right, okay.
I did try using a marker, but it was a grey marker, so it doesn't show up.
Oh, right, okay. Look, let me ask you a question as you're doing that, then.
Yeah,
you can
go on.
multitask, okay? Right, okay, so Robert says, hi, I have a question for Steve. What is the best way to glue two ends of vinyl tracks together? The Tamiya kit instructions suggest heating up the end of a screwdriver and melting the tracks together. But have you a better way of attaching the ends of the tracks together? Thank you and happy modelling, Robert.
Right, if it's with vinyl tracks, there's two types. If Tamiya say you've got to use a hot screwdriver and it does work really well, go for that. But on other vinyl tracks, the more later ones, you can actually glue them with just the normal styrene glue.
Yeah.
With the Tamiya ones, yeah, get a flat screwdriver and heat it up over a candle and push down, but don't over push down too much. Just do it as soon as you see it, you're flattening the screws and them going down over so the track can't come apart. Take it off, because if you press down too hard, you'll just melt all the way through. So it's getting a balancing out. Otherwise, the only way around it will be
staple it.
Yeah, staple it or tie it together with a bit of wire, and make sure that that's on the top. So hopefully your side skirts, if it has, it'll hide it. Yeah. And another good way is along the top. When you put your tracks on, put a bit of super glue on the wheels, so glue it down so it gives that extra bit of strength as well.
Yeah, yeah. I must admit, the big thing is when you're melting them together, think of it like riveting, because as Steve says, if you overdo it, you lose the dome. You want it to flatten it so it pancakes rather than melting it together, because it's not going to melt together. You're just trying to make it like a rivet system, so it sort of domes the top or flattens the top, so it gives you a better finish on there. But to be honest, the way I was used to do it was super glue it, and then I used to, as you say, stick it to a wheel normally something flat, so it's like hidden, you can't even see it, so it's actually glued to a wheel and do it that way. Okay, right, so we did that one. So Brian Hoffman says, hi Phil and Steve, first of all wanted to thank you for the website, your vlogs and Q&A shows. I'm always eager to get my daily fix. Please forgive me if it's been mentioned before, but I viewed your video on YouTube regarding the various ways to use a UMM scriber can be used. The video, oh sorry, not my one, is it? But have you viewed the one about using the UMM subscriber? The video is a little bit older and the music isn't the greatest, but it helped me realise everything is the tool is capable of doing, and it's come really handy in the past. I simply searched how to use a UMM scriber. Thanks again for the forum videos and excellent sanders and washes. I look forward to more. Thanks, Brian. Oh, I haven't seen it. That camera catches me every time. I haven't seen it actually, Brian. I must admit. I don't know if I use it incorrectly. Then I'll have to.
Well, when I got mine, they had a little bit of paper, and it just shows that you can do it where you push it along on a straight line. You can put your scribe, the long.
Yeah.
Put that in and push it along. You can obviously use a curved end, and also you can use it as a scraper because it's so sharp. It's perfect as a scraper as well.
As I always said when I first got it, that blade is sharp, and holding on to it, you have to be a bit careful if you've got like soft hands like myself. And it actually is quite a sharp thing. But yeah, I must admit, I do use it on the push and the pull, and the great thing, probably the most thing I use it for is doing, and we did it on this one even, is the panel lines. Obviously when you sandwich two wings together and you sand it, you lose the panel line running around the front of the wing. So that's what I use that tool for. I drop it in and you just roll it round and just back and forth a couple of times, and it puts in a perfect panel line back into leading edges of wings, which is so much easier than trying to use a scribing tool and trying to go round with it. And if you use a knife blade, it's just too sharp, it just makes a valley, but that thing actually does quite a nice thing with it. But you can use it on the push and the pull, that blade. I know that one because I do it that way as well. Okay, so if you want to get into a corner like a 90 degree, push it in instead of dragging out, you can do it that way. But I say, I haven't seen the video, I'll have to have a look. Okay, Arto, I think, says, hello there everyone, quick question. I'm curious if I want to get a mirror chrome finish with any chrome paint. I've heard it depends on how black glossy the base is. Right, true. So I believe a black gloss paint is a must in this process. So my question is, what in your opinion is the glossiest black paint on the market? Enamel, I believe. Thanks and have a good day. It is a tricky one, and when you're talking chrome finish, when you're trying to airbrush it on, I don't care whose it is, from literally the Extreme Metals, Alclad, Vallejo's, everybody's, getting a true chrome finish is nigh impossible. You can get a very nice shiny finish, don't get me wrong, but chrome tends to be like a mirror. So I would be more inclined to go down the bare metal foil route if you wanted to get that type of finish, because that will give you a chrome finish. Okay, but back to question, you are correct, you need a black gloss base. The thing is, when you're doing with all the metals, it's all about the preparation. Okay, it's all about the base. Yeah. So the thing is, what you want to do is make sure that is like a mirror. So when you put your paint on it, it goes mirror as well. And the big difference is you want the particles and the pigment and the bits and pieces that all lays perfectly well. If there's any texture, any type of roughness, they're all going to be at a slight angle. So what's going to happen then is you're going to get a dull finish. It's going to look like aluminium or stainless steel or something else like that. But the thing is, if you can get them all flat, then it's going to give you a better reflective look to it. Now, as for the best one, it's personal choice. Obviously the ones I like is X1 for an acrylic, is Tamiya. I think that stuff's absolutely brilliant. But there is other ones out there. Alclad do a gloss black primer base. Everybody seems to do a gloss black primer base. If you're asking, I think enamel is probably better. It's a harder finish. It's nicer finish if you like using enamels. So yes, you want to go with a good enamel gloss black. But again, it's literally how good it is. You can polish it, make it even better, and everything else like that. Some of the best chrome effects I've seen, if you're going to talk about paints and things like that, are the buffable ones, to be honest, because you can put them on and then buff them to a mirror finish. Literally, it's a messy, it's horrible, it goes everywhere. We've done it in the past, but you can then get a very nice finish because you're buffing it and getting that mirror edge. Okay, and that is the thing to it. But chromes are notoriously difficult. I think if you were doing chrome aircraft, something else like that, that's a different matter. If you were talking about doing like a 1/16 scale vehicle or a car or something else like that, I'd be more inclined to go down the route of saying I'm bare metal foiling it in chrome, and that will give you a beautiful finish rather than messing around with trying to get an airbrush job on it, because chrome just seems to be that little bit out of reach. I have seen some great people do it, and I've seen some lovely stuff, but the better ones do tend to be done with foil. Steve, ever done chrome?
No, but like you say, if it's a bumper, I'd go for foil definitely.
Yeah.
On a car, but no, I don't think you get that really good chrome finish with paint.
Yeah.
You can't do it. But funny enough, actually, I've been watching on latest car programs, does like on Counts, Customs, stuff like that. If you're automotive guys now, there's a machine that means that they can spray chrome on bumpers and stuff like that. And it's about 4 or 5 different chemicals that they spray on, and it gives off a perfect finish. Yeah. That's interesting.
Because the big thing with chrome, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's basically electroplating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not being sprayed on. Chrome isn't sprayed. You don't technically really spray chrome on. It's all electroplated. So sometimes when you're seeing aircraft and it's a chrome finish, it's not. It's a sprayed on finish that it's just been highly polished, or it's even a metal that's been polished to an inch of its life to give you that real deep luster. But the thing is, there's a classic example. Years ago, we had the great fortune to have a real good look over Duckford's Sabre. F86 Sabre. It had just done flight testing and came back in, and we were like, can we have a look? And they were like, help yourself. And they let us crawl all over this thing. Okay, but it's not silver. Yet when you see it flying, it looks silver, doesn't it? It's actually painted grey. And it's that scale effect. When you see this thing zipping through the sky, it looks like it's silver. Actually, it's not. It's painted silver. And it's more like grey when you're right up against it. So it is that little thing. It's the effect with the light reflecting on it. On a nice day, the Sabre looks like it's silver. Actually, it's painted silver grey. So it's a weird colour, and that's the thing to it. So, but you say it'd be interesting to do it. Is it still like an electro thing when they spray it? Is it, or is
no,
it
it's just it's all different chemicals in this big machine. So God knows what this machine's doing. But but when they, like you said, I've seen it when they do it. They have them huge tanks, don't they? And it just fits in one, comes out into the next one, and that gradually builds it up. But for a modeler, I think you definitely need your foils.
Yeah, I just think it gives that proper look, doesn't it? Instead of the grittiness in. But you say, even if you take, I still maintain the the Mr. Metal colours. The great thing with that is I tend to use like my engine system and everything down in here and even around here. When you're doing it, you can do this thing of put down like dark iron is black, and then you polish it, and then it comes up to a very nice, what I would call iron look, polished iron. Okay, but you can take other things like their stainless steel, for instance, and if you polish the hell out of it, that goes like chrome. You can really bring it up. It's actually too light, and that's, to be honest, what happened to the engine, because we put down, I think it was aluminium into this engine when we first sprayed it. It was too light, it was too shiny. I wanted something to look a bit more metally, so we had to knock it back and go back a stage and everything else like that. So, but definitely, it's one of those things though, if you are going to have a go at it, all in the preparation. And we've had some guys do some F86 and Mustangs and stuff like that on the forum, and they've sprayed it on and got a very good mirror finish out of it. But it's all about preparation. A good flat gloss, an enamel one I think works better than an acrylic, but saying that, the Tamiya X1, give it a damn good run for its money. I do like that one, and things like that, rather than the so-called proper black bases that you can buy. I think just a good standard enamel that works well for you is probably the better way to go.
Yeah, and a good thing, especially when you're doing gloss finishes and that, you can get them mesh cake covers, can't you? Cake stand covers.
Yeah, yeah.
Get yourself one and then spray your
Top.
model, plonk it over, and it'll just stop all them bits of dust getting on it, but then it'll still let the fumes escape. Because that's one thing. If you get specks and you deepen your paint work, even if you try polishing it out, you never will. It'll just
And again, I think you know, afterwards, if you're talking about sealing it, you know, don't just put a normal gloss over the top, because you'll lose that luster as well. You know, personally, I'd nipper it, 2-pack lacquer, and weld it down, and that means you can polish it even more. But certainly, don't just put a normal coat over the top, because you'll go back to being aluminium, because it'll look horrible. Okay, how are you getting on down there in the corner?
Yeah, well, we've made a bit of progress here. Right.
Hold on, let me put you on big cam, because I'm going to talk about something at the same time, because we've had a question.
About Steiner Res. Oh, just slopped it. Oh, luckily it didn't go everywhere.
Okay, so the question is at the same time, because it's all going to tie in. Hi Phil and Steve, this is about your favourite primer, Steiner Res. I've had a thickening problem at the beginning of using the use of Steiner Res. As I am only as I only have a limited spraying area and no spraying cabinet, yes I do wear a mask, I just do not want to use hot products for spraying, as I have chest problems. So I persevered with getting the method to work with Steiner Res, as also finding the final finish is very good. I found that for a long-term shortage, a mix of 50-50 with IPA, I've had partially used a bottle, months old, with no thickening. Then I used it, I further thinned it with 50-50 with IPA again, but a big but must be shaken for more than 5 minutes continuously. I was amazed at how much separated. I used it in a Harder & Steenberg Infinity CR Plus with a 0.2 needle, and the results were outstanding. Maybe you could try this method for your long-term health. Thanks for your outstanding site. That, to be honest, that is a good point. The trouble with Steiner Res, I think my ones especially, is I didn't shake it properly when I first had it, and I think it was still very thick at the bottom, and I was using the thin good stuff at the top. So by the time I got a third into it, I was into the sludge. And then that's thickened as well, and now it's gone like Colgate. So anyway, how have you got on with yours?
Right. Tamiya has thinned it beautifully.
Right.
See, just, I don't know how well you can see that, just dropping off nicely.
Yeah.
Right, now, I'm going to put this. Hang on.
Just don't lean it with your cup, because your brush will knock it over.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do. I did have a bit of kitchen rolls. But anyway, I'll just bounce it like that. Right, when I put them Mr. Colour self-leveling in, to start with, it did go a lot thicker. Yeah. And it actually started almost like air trapped in there and kind of a little big bubble blobbed up. Yeah. But I put some more in and it's thinned it beautifully.
Oh, right.
But it's like you said before, isn't it, with thinning extra acrylics, it goes thick, but if you over thin it,
if you keep going. I'm glad we caught that as one for the outtakes show. Steve's got a lap full.
No, anyway. I haven't got a lap full. It landed on my knee and on my sock. So I've now got.
Steve, no one can see. I've put the back suit up. We need one that says technical difficulties with, like, you know, a puppet.
Yeah, but no, honestly, it's thinned it really well. So I bet it sprays really nice. But like I say, you'd really want to mix it in a pot first. Yeah. And when it does go, and it did go a lot thicker, compared to these. Because I put roughly the same amount in as I did the Tamiya, but then I put more in. And it's really thinned it nicely, and I bet that'll go down really well.
Yeah, all right, cool. Very good. So there we go. As I say, don't get me wrong, keep looking at that camera. I don't dislike the stuff. I think the stuff's fantastic, and don't forget, I've sung its praises for a long time. It's just that it thickens up, and it's one of those things where, with me, I like things I can just grab it, put it in my colour cup and spray it. I don't want to be fighting around with it. And if a product somewhat is going off in the early stages, why is that? And also there doesn't seem to be any consistency, because I've got like a bottle of white and it seems fine, and I've used it, and I've got a bottle of black and it's like Colgate, it's literally like toothpaste, it's that thick. I've got some grey somewhere in between, and yet I've got other people saying to me, don't use the red one because the red one's terrible. And I've got other people saying, the red one's fine. So I don't know if there's a manufacturing problem here, that some is fine, some is not. And is it because of cross-contamination? There's a lot of if and buts and all the rest of it. But for me, I must admit, I did mention it, I think, on a previous show, but I'm using these at the moment. I've got all three. I've got the black, the grey and the white primers. These are the AK ones. Again, it's just that thing. I can grab this, I can give it a shake. I put some, stainless steel nuts in there as normal. I give it a bit of a shake. I put it in my colour cup. It sprays beautifully. I never had a problem. Okay, I don't want to have a product where I'm literally sat there and it's like, yeah, okay, and now we're going to do this, but I need to spend 10 minutes preparing the product to be able to use. I like stuff that is literally you grab it and go. Okay, which apparently this stuff is supposed to be very good as well. Again, I haven't tried it, I don't know, but this is the MRP black surface primer as well. I reckon it's going to be the same as the other one, but let's say I haven't even opened it, so I don't know. What's your primer of choice? Are you still down on the X19, XF19?
Yeah, I tend to use that X19. Depending on what I'm doing for the tank, I put a nice amount of thinner in there, and I've started putting a little drop of retarder in. So I feel it gives a nicer finish. If it's aircraft, I tend to like to use a bit of the self-leveling thinner in there, because that gives a really, really smooth finish. So it's a good base then for your top layers of paint.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we're going back to chrome and all the rest of it. Primers, think of them as twofold product. One is that obviously you put it down, it's preparation for using your paint. Okay, so it gives your paint something to stick to. So if you're talking about chromes and various things, you need a nice gloss side on there. But also think of a primer as your last chance to check everything's okay. So you're looking to make sure your seam lines all match up. So if you've got them coming together, you're also looking for sinkage marks, because sometimes this plastic is notorious for it, the Revel stuff, it's very soft. So when you put two bits together, you can often get sink marks. If you can see them in the primer stage, like I did, because to be honest, if you remember, or if you've watched it, but down this back one, when we came to paint this, all of a sudden I had a huge sink mark back here, and it's like, where did that come from? It was fine last week when I looked at it, and now I've got this huge problem. So it's a case of, now I've got it in the primer, I can sand it, another quick coat of primer over the top, and we're good to go. So use priming as seam checking, making sure you're happy, because if it looks great in primer, it'll look great with your paint on. If you've got problems when you're in primer, you can fix them, and that's a great thing about it, and you can keep going over and over until you're happy with it. Okay, so always see primer like a double-edged sword, really, to your advantage. Use it for obviously keying your paintwork, making it good, but also see it for checking all your seams and everything else like that. Right, next question is this. So, hi Phil and Steve, enjoying the vlog yesterday with the studio cleanup. 2 questions. First one is, I'm planning on redoing my 1/350th scale USS Nimitz next year to a modern configuration and better standard. How would you scratch build the sponsons shown on the image below, and the radar domes also found on Phil's Iwo Jima? They are odd curves to deal with, and when doing the sponsons, they're odd curves to deal with doing the sponsons. I don't do much scratch building and I've never done casting. Right, well the bit you're looking at just down there is obviously that weapons rail. I think that's the anti-missile jobby, isn't it? So that's those. To be honest, to do that one coming out the side is not going to be as straightforward, because as I say, it's not like just a bit that's sticking out. There's actually superstructure coming from the lower hull and coming up. I know you probably can't see it that well, but I've got it on my phone zoomed in, and that is a big lump sticking on the side of that. Usual thing again, yes, as I say, it's such a large piece. Technically, it'll be a case of either you can do it through using something like foam core, and you could build it up in layers and make a solid lump, and just sand and shape it as you would, and then attach it to your model. Or you can do it out of plasticard and then actually just make the shape. But again, you'd be wanting to find some plans ideally and some measurements and various things. You could mark eyeball it, but it'd be very difficult to do. But the trouble is that actually is a proper piece on the side there. It's not just a plank. It looks, when I look at it in my monitor from a distance, like it's just a bit on the side, but it's not. It's actually quite a bit of superstructure in there. So yes, if I was doing it personally, I'd be inclined to get the shape from some plans off of the top to give me the top-down view, so I've got the correct size. Then I'd work out the depth of it, and then I would probably plasticard, and then like overlap the plasticard, so it's like lap boarding all the way around, fill, shape and sand it and do it that way. Long, laborious job for a small project, but as you say, I don't know if anybody does an update set for it. You might, I don't know if anybody might have done something like that. Some of the garage guys might have actually done an update set for it that has these parts on. As for the radar ones, the balls on the top and all the rest of it, again, have a look for aftermarket stuff. But secondly, you know, that's not too much of a problem because you could actually make them up out of, you know, putty. Like, Steve, you had the that moulding stuff the other day, didn't you? You were showing it on here.
Oh, that modelling clay.
The modelling clay.
Yeah.
You could actually probably knock them out of modelling clay and do it that way. Because that dries, air dries and all the rest of it, even if you used it as a master to mould from, and do it from that.
Yeah.
So, but that's quite, it's not, you know, it's one of those projects where you say it and you think, oh, that's easy, I'll just put a bit on the side and I'll just upgrade it. Didn't they completely change the island as well on that thing? On the Nimitz, between the old Nimitz and the modern one?
I wouldn't know about that, but to be honest, I'd have a look at some of these, some really good shipbuilding forums out there, and these guys know absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And also, there's a lot of aftermarket stuff that I've never heard of. I know you can get a lot of weapon sets as well now.
Yeah,
you can get all the flanks, guns, and weapon system, so you might be able to have a look there. But for the actual superstructure, that's got to be a bigger job than you think to get that looking right.
That's right.
Other, you may look and think, well, that's the only major change, but there's got to be a lot more changes. The stuff that they add on.
Yeah, I think they did. They did a huge amount. I'm pretty sure they changed the island on it as well, or they did something to it.
Yeah, be a big job.
Big job on that one. Yeah, definitely. Well, we enjoy following along your build. Yeah. Second question is, what do you do with your kit boxes once they're completed? My sprues, the sprues, instructions, spare decals, PE, etc. My stash of completed kits is much bigger than my actual stash, and need to make room. For me, I must admit, they all go in recycling. Sprues and that I tend to chop up and have a box full, and I'll dump that at some point. Decal sheets, I have a folder with all my, I think we've showed it on air, it's actually under here. This is all my decal sheets from every kit I've ever built is down in here. And I have some of them organised, others I just literally put in here into folders, so that's where all mine go. And then my instructions, to be honest, I have a pile. I always keep the instructions, and I've got another folder down in there just full of instructions, and I've got it in folders elsewhere as well. I've literally got tons of them. And to be honest, I had loads of old instructions from when I did commission work and years ago. I actually threw that away not so long ago. It's old stuff, it's the really old kits, nothing that I need now. And it was a folder like this, and it was like, no, it's junk, that can go, so I got rid of that. PE, photo etch, all those bits and pieces, anything that's aftermarket spares goes in my scratch building drawer. So like down here we've got photo etch frets which I use, we've got leftover resin that I didn't use in builds, they're down here, so you name it, it ends up literally down here. So right the way through to, look, I've got down here dead frets that have got nothing on them, but it's still very handy if you need bits of metal for scratch building and things like that. So I even keep old photo etch sprues because I just find them really handy. If you ever needed to make up something small, these are absolutely ideal for it. So I keep everything like that. I am a hoarder. Steve, would you do yours?
Yeah, I've got a drawer back there full of bits and pieces, and I've got a tub here Like all your photo etch, little bits like that. If there's some left, I'll save.
Yeah.
Clear sprue as well, little square windows, lenses, stuff like that. I don't save every bit, but I'll save all the blade, antenna, and pitot tube, stuff like little things that you think, for not one of them off a future model, and I've got one in my little box.
Spare. Yeah, definitely.
And anything else that might or may come in handy, or that you could pass on to a friend if they're doing the kit. And then
I think it's always handy to keep the little bits and pieces. You'd be surprised over the years. I've used tons of them and all the rest of it. And sometimes I'll be doing a build and I'll be thinking, and it's one of those things. Is like I just need some little tiny bit, and I have a scrummage through. Normally I can come up with it. That's the thing. It's really weird. I'll tell you what I did come up with, which I don't know if I mentioned at the time or I just winged it with you guys, but I lost all the antennas for the Dreamliner. That all come out of my spares thing. So I had spare pitot tubes and things which I cut into antennas for the 144 Dreamliners.
But I've also got some wooden drawers, little drawers, and they've got like little accessories that I might have bought, little bits like water bottles or coolers and little stuff like that. So if I'm doing armour, I can just put a little bit here and there, or maybe save any little gun barrels, anything like that, bits and pieces, just save them, because you never know when they're going to come in.
No, definitely. That's another thing I also keep as well, people probably think it's mad, but I also keep things like casting blocks. So like down here we got resin casting blocks. This is off, I think it's actually off the engines actually of the Dreamliner. But in some ways that could be quite handy for something. I don't know what, don't get me wrong, but a good square of resin, you'd be amazing what you could use for that. But yeah, I do. I keep out all the little weird stuff and odds and sods, and I've got the fan blades we didn't use from the Dreamliner, various things. So if I ever need something like that, I've got it sorted. I've got it well covered.
Yeah, I've got it right. I've just started.
Look, we can all look now through Steve's drawers.
Hey, but you're looking there. That's all just for all my US Armour stuff, modern stuff. So I've got these figures and bits of resin storage that I never used.
It's always handy to have.
Yeah.
The thing is though, the secret is knowing you've got it, and then finding it when you need it.
I didn't know I had that.
See, there you go. Going through Steve's drawers.
Oh, it's for the M1A2. It's some reflective coating.
Oh right. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, set of water bottles off somewhere. I don't know where they came out of.
Yep.
There's a gun barrel. What's that one? Gun barrel for the M1A one. Resin back, metal barrel and all resin some pieces and.
See that? Going through Steve's drawers live.
I've got tons of drawers down here as well.
That's steady. Pieces. Okay, he also says, some point to consider when doing the 148 Kinetic SU33. Did enjoy the build because of the instructions. Sorry, didn't enjoy the build because the instructions were terrible. Painting and weathering was great, and it's one of my favourite kits I've done. Also a big aircraft, so we need to take a bit of room to display it. I hope that helps. All the best. Pajamit, I think. Sorry if I mutilated your name. Yeah, I must admit, I've got the paints for it, and so Steve now, so there's no excuse, Steve. We have the paints.
Yeah, well, it's something I've always wanted to build, and I think I might, like I say, do my Forge World kit that I've got in the same colours, because that's Sea Patrol plane, Navy, something or other.
See, also the thing is down here, because as I say, I've got the paint sets for it, and it's like 3-tone camouflage for the SU33, or you can have the pale tone camouflage. Don't know what the difference is in SU33. We have both. And also I've got the Ukrainian SU27 colour schemes. I've got all the Russian ones now, so we're all good. We're stucked up with them. And as I say, hopefully, well we are, there'll be the new UK supply coming on very soon. Trust me, it's very close to home. Okay, so Paul Hart says, hi Phil and Steve, one for Steve, I'm building the TACOM World War I heavy battle tank, the Hermaphrodite. What is the best colour, what base colour should I use for this in Tamiya or model it if possible, please?
I'm just having a look to see what I did mine.
I did
Depends
mine in MIGs, I think it was.
Yeah, because they do because
They did a World War One paint set, and that's what I did mine in.
yeah, because this one's a brown colour.
Yeah.
It's gradually getting there with weathering. I'm slowly doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used Vallejo for that, but I can't remember which one it was. But they also there's a green that they
Version
use
of
in
it,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. So it depends which one it is. Can't remember.
Yeah, I must admit, I think it was the MIG colours I used in mine. MIG brought out an actual paint set for it called World War One British Armour colours. And it's like a set of 3, that's what I used on mine. It was like one of their modulation sets, so it was like the shade in one each side, so you had the dark and light version of it. So
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. It wasn't that one, was it? But I did use a Vallejo colour for it. I think, can't remember if it was model colour or model air. Yeah, honestly can't remember. I'll have to have a look, see if I can find out what I used.
Yeah.
It's a bit too light.
Yeah, pass on that. Not sure about that.
I honestly can't remember, I'm afraid.
Okie dokie. Anyway, Brian says, when I started out again 18 months ago, I wasn't sure what I needed either, so I just watched a few videos to get an idea of the experience, for what the experienced folk are using, and got myself similar or as cheap as I could. Sorry, is this answering a question to someone? Sorry, it just seemed to be a question. From the Poundland shop, I got some super glue and gel for nail files and different grits, buffers, cocktail sticks, masking tape, shot glass for mixing the paint. Sorry, it sounds like it's a question, answering a question. Can't see the question for it. From Wilkinson's, I also got some clamps ranging from 70p for each of the small ones, £1.30 for some adjustable ones. From Hobbycraft, I got some paint mixing palettes, some soft pastels for making washes, all for £1 each. I got some paint brushes that work, £3 for a set of 8, different sizes. Don't tell the Series 1 folks, they won't believe you. Okay, not the best quality, but I'm still using some that are 18 months old and they work okay for me. My Tamiya extra thing came from a local hobby shop in New York, £3.50. I got my initial paint supplies from Hobbycraft, Tamiya, £1.60 a bottle. Keep an eye open for when you shops like Aldi on deals for Airfix starter kits. I got half a dozen for £3 each. That is more than enough for me to knock together a couple of kits and get me the bug again and not break the bank. Fair enough. Okay, so David says, hi Phil and Steve, second question for today. I know it's not your era. Any tips on how to paint World War One laminated propeller? Yeah, well, we did do something like it. Go and have a look at my Wing Nut Wings when I do my wood tip one. But basically you're going to work it the same way as when I do my wood one, which is to use the oil paint and streak it with a sponge. But you're then going to seal, mask, and then do it again in different shades. And that's how you're going to do it. And if you want to get the different shades of wood as if it has been laminated together, roughly the same technique. Steve?
Yeah.
You ever do laminated wood?
Well, I've done normal kind of wood grain effect, you know, using your, like putting down like desert yellow or buff.
That's right, and then
put your oil over. Because them laminated ones, they look like they're in stripes, don't they? So you've got your light colour, dark, light colour. Yeah. There's different ways. Obviously, you may have to paint each band separately and then go over it with. If you start with a maybe desert yellow XF59. Yeah. It's your base. Then you can paint on the bands, and then finally use gloss clear orange. Yeah. If you dilute it and then brush that over, that'll give you that kind of antique varnish look. Also, you can use watercolor crayons, watercolor pencils, and actually draw on the different laminated colours there. You know, put the brown in the middle. Yeah. Use that to draw it on it, and then again use clear orange to seal it in and give it that varnish look, that anti-wood effect varnish.
Yeah, definitely. I think the trouble is, if you're talking like a propeller, even in 1/32, it's very small. Funnily enough, story to this: my wing that wings. Do you remember when it got destroyed? It got dropped and smashed and everything else. If you remember, I lost my wheel hub. It's the only thing I found. I did find it, and do you know where it was? It was up the air intake of an F-15. Somehow it must have bounced and gone up and into the actual air intake of an F-15. So that's where that came up. But yeah, the thing is, it's still very small. So to try and get that in, personally, I think the way I would do it is start off, as you say, like Steve was saying, with something like a light colour, even like a buff XS57, a nice light colour, and then mask it in those little strips, as in lamination strips, and then use a darker one as your base colour, and then oil streak over the top of it, so that way you'll get the contrast, you know what I mean? And take it off. But you're talking something really, really small, so that would be like a day's dedication just doing that little bit of work. But as you say, if you're going for that laminated look on World War One stuff, then obviously it's the time well spent. I don't know if anyone does a decal or a wrap.
If you just bear with us, I'll get it.
Yeah, because I know that you can buy decals for them. It comes as a sheet, and you can literally then wrap it on and do it. So it's a shame nobody does like hydro dipping. That'd be great if you could do that. Do the thing with water and you bring it up to temperature, put the film down, spray it with a chemical that destroys the backing, and then dip it into it. So you could hydro dip. That would look fantastic for wood. I'm sure somebody probably does that, because I know they do it for carbon fibre and all the bits and pieces. Have you got some? Have you got some?
Well, what HGW do are
right.
these decal sheets.
Right.
Didn't know you got two in each one.
Ooh.
But it's not. I don't know if it'd work that well for your propeller, but they do. They might do some for your propeller, but they do, and it's kind of a wood.
Oh yeah, got you.
So obviously, still paint it maybe a desert yellow, and then you put these or a light colour, and then put them on.
Yeah.
Like I say, a clear orange is really nice. Even if you dilute it and just put a really diluted coat over it, it'll give a nice effect. But they also do. Put that one there. This one as well, which hasn't been opened, which is kind of your plywood colours. I don't know if you've seen them.
No, I haven't seen those at all. I must admit, that's quite nice for doing, say, fuselage, just like it's shown on the thing.
Yeah, and they have a different light effect there.
Yeah.
They do all these different ones, and I've yet to try them, but it could be worth getting yourself some of these, seeing if they do ones for propellers. Somebody will do them.
Fantastic.
But these, brilliant. Like, I know people have done mosquitoes in them and stuff like that. So they're really cool.
I must admit, I saw, was it Telford? Somebody did the, I don't know if it was a mosquito. I think it might have, it must have been the mosquito. Completely in bare metal and wood.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic. Very, very nice to see that.
But with products like this, it's easier to do, because it's just, you get two sheets, different, one's pale and one's rich, as they call it.
Yeah.
And that, get yourself a couple of packs of that and cover a 1 to 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, very nice.
There you go.
Very good. Right, well that's all the questions gone, so I can just do a few of my personal ones that are coming to me via the site, okay, and in the forum. So the first one up is Keith says, "Hi Phil, I wondered if you considered having some sort of lapel badge made for members who are going to Telford. Then we know who's a member when we see each other, and perhaps the cost could be spread over the members who are going, or the cost could be paid into Mel's Snap account. Don't know what other members would be interested, but I thought I'd post up the question." We do a badge anyway, which if you've been in one of the group builds and the various things like that, you would have had. So there is that. We haven't done a nice sort of lapel type badge. Might be something, because to be honest, I love the centres we use for the medals now, because it's embossed. I don't know if you guys have got your medals, have noticed, but if you look at the centre, we had them done properly this time. It's not like a sticker stuck in there. These are domed, embossed ones onto it. If we could have them put onto a badge, I think they'd look really, really nice. But yeah, perhaps we had some type of fancy pin. The only trouble we have now is because of the Flory girl is so detailed and is like, you know, RGB colouring, to print it costs a fortune because it's not like 2-colour printing or things like that. So from that point of view, we sort of shot ourselves a little bit in the foot for doing promo stuff because everything costs a fortune. But it's definitely something we can look at. I'll have a word with our new company. I have been speaking to a company. I think Steve answered it about the mugs. Somebody asked about drinking mugs with the Flory girls on it, because I know you've got one, I've got one. Mel's killed my other one in the thing. The thing is, the company we were using, they've gone bust. They're the ones who did these, which I wasn't overly happy with the quality of the last lot that came in anyway. Now we know why, because they went bust on me. So I've got to find an entire new company, and they're going to have the artwork and the bits and pieces. And as you know, a lot of you know, is obviously minimum quantities to get a good enough price. Yes, you can order 10, but you know, for a polo top, they went like 25 quid, and obviously that's not going to work. You know, we are looking into doing, as you say, the mugs, the pens, decent polo shirts. We're even looking at some of you guys are on about the work shirts. So it's like a decent heavy duty sort of cotton shirt with the actual thing on it instead. So yeah, we're looking at those as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because to be honest, we were looking at perhaps having the girls, each one.
Well, yeah, because I fancy having the navy girl with wash girl on back.
Yeah, so we're thinking perhaps if we have like, you know, wash girl, sander girl, Flory girl, or pigment or whatever, doing the ones of all the different ones. But as you say, it costs an absolute fortune. And as I say, I can be honest, we never make anything on any of the products we do. It's what it costs us and what we charge you, because we don't see it as, you know, a thing of making money from. But it's still got to be reasonably priced, you know, at the end of the day. Okay, so Joe Cook asks, "Hi Phil, time is flying and Christmas is around the corner. I would like to repaint the Snack Type Revel Millennium Falcon for my brother. Can't find the thread. I know it was around about December the 11th. I watched your vlogs. Would love a quick review and a respray you did if possible." I didn't actually spray it. That was the point. I built it with every intention, but we run out of time during that month. It's still here, to be honest, it's over there still. So never say never. I might just give it a coat and a re-weather. If you want to know about it, it'll be done exactly the same way as we did the Bandai one. Okay, so have a look at the video build for the 144 Bandai, because that's exactly what I would do to it. It'd be the same approach, technique and everything else, just like that. He also says on there, my build list keeps growing. The AMK MiG, the EdR-G6, my build thread keeps growing, it does. AMK, MiG, EdR-G6, there are other steel kits like the old Trumpeter MI-17 and the 32nd A10 we all want to build. We are going to be buried in our stash. If we will our stash for the kids, when we pass away, maybe they'll be guilted into the hobby and keep it going. Probably. I must admit, as soon as this thing's out of the way, the armour's not going to take long, then I am on a roll. Trust me, for the run up to Christmas, I intend to really push on. I'm not going to tie in. The super builds tend to tie me into doing, you know, I'm showing you in high detail all about it. So I film everything, which means when it comes to editing takes a lot longer than normal. Instead of me like turning off the camera, carry on working, turning on the camera, when I do this type of build, I video everything, because you never know which bits you're going to need. So it comes to editing it, as I said, it's what I call 1 to 2. So if I film 2 hours of video, it'll take me 4 hours to edit it, and that's how it actually works. So in some ways it takes a lot longer, but hopefully you're enjoying the detail process, the way we've done the engines, the bits all separate, and now we're coming together. You think 50 minutes just on modelling, you know, things like that. So hopefully you're getting a lot out of it, but normal service will resume when I will push through. So a lot of things, when I do the G6, I'm going to completely go to town with all the stuff on the G6, but I can redirect you to actually how we did this one to do the same bits, because obviously the gun deck, the engine will be done exactly the same as it's done here on the G6, so I won't need to show you in detail. So it will be a case of, and here's the engine, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, I'm going to put it in. If you want to see details about it, then go off and have a look at that engine build, because it's basically the same thing. Same with the cockpit, same with the other thing, so that is the other bit to it. So you'll get an overall impression of the build in 6 parts, instead of this is going to be near a 20-part build, I think, by the time we get to the end. Okay, so yes, and definitely stashing reduction. I've moved a lot of mine upstairs now. I had to pick all the boxes that fit neatly. That's how my stash works now. Okay, so this question was from Matthew. Hi Phil, not sure where to ask this question on the forum, so I'll ask it here. Do you know any reputable well, I presume he means where I can purchase dock kits from? Steve, you ever heard of a dock kit?
No, and I've just tried Googling dock kits and came up with a load of stuff for disabled, so I don't know what it's short for.
The company is apparently a bit of a pain to deal with. It's a pain to find by the looks of it. But they're the only ones I can find that do 1/72nd Italian trucks from World War II. I'm currently making the Italian Chompagna, I can't even pronounce that, for wargaming in 1/72nd. I cannot find another version of a truck, 35 3-ton truck, or the Lancia 3RO 6-ton truck from any other manufacturers. And their LT37 tractor is very nice. I'm surprised with all of this, as the Allies use these vehicles frequently when captured, as they are also reliable and easy to repair. But alas, no models. Wondering if you can help Matt. To be honest, Matt, that is well out of my scope. Steve's probably closest one I know that would know anything about it. I've never heard of dock. So
it sounds like something to do, obviously, with tabletop wargaming, and it's a whole different genre to what we do. Even as armour build, it's different genre again.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a trouble with that one. So, unfortunately, obviously, guys, anybody who is on the site, in the forum and anything else, if you can help out, then just feel free to post away in my thread down there and come back to him. Hi Phil, what camcorder setup would be good for videoing model builds? I'm looking at the Canon HR700 with mic input. The mic I'm looking at is the Techstar. Would this be a good setup? Thanks, Rick. I tell you what, looking at the screen now, my webcam's pretty good at this. I could just record this direct and save all the hassle. At the end of the day, there's a couple of things you're going to be looking for with a camcorder. First of all is make sure it can record in 1080. Don't worry about 4K. You're never going to use 4K in a million years. I've got 4K cameras. I don't use them. It records in 4K, but honestly, trying to upload and stream 4K is a no-no for many years. Okay, but you've got to be 1080. What you're looking for in a camcorder is focus. It's got to be able to keep up with what you're doing. Okay, so all my cameras around here, one of the good things is they can keep up. So when I'm sanding and stuff like that, it's not just a complete blur, and then the camera doesn't know where to focus, so it starts going up and down. Now, to be honest, I've had cameras in the past and that's what they used to trouble with. Also, the thing is, they've got to be very quick at autofocus, okay, because there's no point locking off your focus, because when you come to this bit, and obviously I'm using the cameras above and I'm doing all this business, it's got to keep up with it all. So suddenly if you've got a model and you turn it on the side, you don't want it to be, I don't know where to focus, and it's pulsing up and down and it can't keep up. Or if you're using a camera head on, obviously it needs to track you and your model, which is something, to be honest, that camera does, and the reason I spent 1,800 quid on it. It's what it does. It actually can multi-focus, so you've got a target on me, so I tell it to focus on me, and it knows it in its memory. It knows what I look like, and it will always focus on me. But it has a priority shift where if I hold something off in my hand, it will track that. So that's why it's quite good at tracking multiple things in the various bits and pieces. The overhead ones are pretty much locked. So the white balance is locked, the focus is locked, and all the rest of it. But as you say, it's just having that ability to focus in on autos and things like that, especially if you're a bit like me and a bit handy and wave your hands around a lot. You don't want to be to try and look at your hands, because it'll be, your focus will be all over the point to it. As for that particular one, anything Canon I tend to like, and Panasonic. They're my two go-to companies. I like the Panasonic range, and as I say, the Panasonic, I think the 800 series, they're still very good. The 900 series are also very good. And then with the Canon, obviously, pretty much all of those are very nice. Okay, what you do want to go is with an SD card. Make sure, don't do it to internal memory. I've had trouble with those in the past where it's failed and then you've lost it. If it's on an SD card, you can get it out, you can recover it. There's software, I've had SD cards fail on me before, and now I must admit I've got a bit of software on my computer which will recover damaged files and various things. It was like 50 quid for a lifetime thing, and it saved me more times I can remember now. So that's quite good as well. As for microphones, just get yourself a shotgun mic. The great thing about a shotgun mic is, and to be honest, that's what is recording this now. There's one right above me up there, okay, but also I have another one there, there's another one over there, and there's a big one over there. What they enable to do is it gets rid of all the ambient noise. So also, if you're in a situation where you're in a really echoey room, it'll cut that down a lot, so people can hear what you're saying. And the other thing as well is, like when you're airbrushing as well, you can point the shotgun mic at you, not at your airbrush, so it's not listening to you hiss at something and all the rest of it. But like I always say to everybody, it's not what your equipment is. You don't need to spend thousands of pounds on high-tech equipment and all the rest of it. We have here, but trust me, some of it you often wonder if it is money well spent. You know, at the end of the day, lighting is always going to be your friend. I am here sweating for a very good reason, is that we've probably got thousands of watts of lights above me, which, to be honest, make the studio look extremely dark anywhere around it. But good lighting is probably where I put my money over a camcorder. Okay, so good lighting is pretty much your first port of call, because if you've got good lighting, any camera will work really well. But if you've got bad lighting, obviously your camera will struggle a little bit. Won't it, Steve? Now we're getting you into it.
Yeah.
We get you all going with your Posh DSLR.
Yes. Yeah, it's very good actually. Used it yesterday and it were amazing.
I must admit, because Steve brought his down and we had a bit of a play, because I've never used a DSLR before. And the great thing about, well, the thing I've always worried about using a DSLR is its ability to autofocus, because they're not really designed for it. They're not designed to continuously be changing. And obviously things like white balances and stuff like that. Normally with DSLRs, they're designed to lock, shoot, crystal clear, high quality image. It's not really designed for like moving and all the rest of it, you know, because obviously most of the camcorders I use, like the big one we got over here, has got this 6-way stabilized thing. I don't know if you noticed, but I can actually move in my seat and it will track me as well, and it will literally, it's got quite a good movement, free movement. It's things like that. Obviously DSLRs don't, but I had a play with Steve's when he was down here last month, and I must admit I was going from macro right up into its face to long distance, and it was really quick. I was very impressed with it actually. The only thing is, I said it's no good for me, because if I was to hang them off my roof, that would be a lot of weight, and that's a big camera to have hanging off up there. That's the trouble. Well, that's where a camcorder comes into its own, because it's small, it's compact, and you can just stick it in a corner, and it doesn't take up much room. But if you've got DSLRs hanging off of like my rig above and that, I don't think I would trust it. I'd have to reinforce it or something. Yeah,
and I found I need to get some more SD cards as well that you can write on them a lot quicker.
Yeah,
that's the one keeping up with it. It's,
that's the other thing as well. Like obviously, my big camcorder out there, when I first got it, if you buy some of those ones, like not all SD cards are equal, which I didn't realise till then. Because as you say, if you buy like just a cheap one for $6.99, you know, a 32 gig SD card, trust me, the actual write and read speed off of that card, if it, what they call them, a number 10 is an XCS 10, which does at 45 megabytes and higher. You can get them that transfer at 80 megabytes. So that's the amount of information your camera's taking and sticking it onto the card, how quickly it can do it. So if you've got a really slow one, you get lag and drop frames and everything else from video. So
yeah, mine were right and didn't miss anything, but it was just, you go back to view the image.
Yeah, it
just
takes a while.
And you're like, come on. So,
yeah.
But luckily it takes SD cards and compact flash.
Oh, it's handy. Yeah,
so
it's nice.
I can see what good deals I can get on some of the stuff. But I do, I will try recording one day. I think I'll need to get a microphone for it as well. A microphone.
Yeah, I'd say just one of those little ones. Little one on the top. Let's say shotgun mics, the little ones. The quality in your audio, again, is fantastic. Like for me, I spent a long time just fiddling around with cameras, thinking that was all it was, and then it was like I was always getting grittiness in the image, and that's because we just had that light above and it just wasn't enough, and then we sort of put big lights in and multiple lights and everything else, and that cured that. And then you're like, right, okay, so now let's look at audio, and then that's a completely different minefield as well. So it's just what works for you.
Because I don't look too bad, because I've just got the normal strip lighting, but 2 daylight bulbs above me. There's one to the side of me as well, but I wouldn't mind. Now they're only 36 watt, I think, and you can get more powerful ones, but I don't know, do I need to change the whole light thing or just the starter motor and the bulbs? I don't know.
I don't know, pass.
Oh, pass.
No.
Yeah.
No, I must admit my LED lights, which I thought were dying on me, I've been checking them continuously now for the last couple of weeks, and I don't think they are. I think it's just my eyes are getting used to it.
Yeah. Well, when I've just bought one for my photography, and they reckon it's about 10,000. We're either 10,000 or 100,000 hours.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And
big
you'll
time.
never get to use all that. So I doubt that they'll go in your lifetime.
No, well the thing was, to be honest, to double check this, because obviously we've got two here. I originally bought four because that was it, but you don't need four. It's completely overkill down here. It's like the surface of the sun. So I must admit, I got one of the other ones out and I put it side by side and checked it, which is brand new technically, never used it, and it's fine. It's no problem at all. So these I thought were dying on me, but I think it's just getting used to it. So, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, lighting's the key.
But lighting is
It
definitely
is.
your key.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, Peter Casey says, great news on the A10. That'll be a mega build. I'm really looking forward to it. Can you recommend a lighting kit for the Revel Fine Molds 172nd Millennium Falcon? Thanks and all the best, Peter from Sydney. No, I can't. Not for 172nd. To be honest, I don't think you would need a lighting set. I reckon you could easily rig something up, unless you wanted to, go through the motions of. But you could easily put flicker type LEDs and do it that way. Again, I know I keep plugging them, but Richard has been speaking to one of our members this week about I'm not going to say it in case I'm not allowed to, but I'm privy to a conversation they've been having about we spoke about a Hercules in-flight diorama with lights and all the bits and pieces, and I know Richard's been helping him out exclusively a lot on that one to push it forward, but have a look with scale magic modelling, I don't know which
Hey,
one is it.
that's good, Phil. So when we do our A400M
Yeah.
in
What, in
flight,
flight?
yeah,
Right.
with engines spinning and noises and lights and landing,
Yeah.
door dropping at the back and something
What,
flying
a
out.
Humvee coming out the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And we'll just do that for Telford?
No, well, no, because we've got A10 next year, so that's
All right.
2018's mega.
Oh, 2018 Super Build is like A400's cargo dropping in flight.
Hopefully
Brilliant.
everyone's, comes down with a bit of dementia by then, sort of.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to have to buy another table for Telford for that year. We'll have to spend another 600 quid for another table just for them two.
But yeah, that's one thing. I must admit, I'm looking forward to building my A400.
I must admit, apart from the sink marks,
Yeah,
on top of the wings.
it's a
Right.
stunning aircraft.
No, it is a nice looking aircraft.
Yeah.
So anyway, have a word with Richard at Magic Scale Modelling. He will sort you up. He'll know, he's a modeller himself, so that's the great thing about it. You don't sound like a complete idiot when you turn around saying, can you do me? Because he can. He's very good. And if he doesn't, he'll come up with an idea that can do it. So shoot him a message. He's on our forum as well, and the various bits and pieces. So have a word and he'll sort you out. Okay, he's very much a good guy at this. Okay, right, if we just do a couple more. Hi Phil, quick question. Can you help with advice on airbrushing Tamiya XF2? Every time I spray, it comes out of the airbrush like sand texture. I use Tamiya thinners and thin it 50-50 and cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong. The paint, every other paint I spray is fine, including the yellow and red, both of which I'm not a fan of. Can you give me some advice? Okay, George, at the end of the day, if you watch how I do it, you can spray it neat for your first one, but again, it's going to be quite textured. What I would do is not probably go with a 50-50, go for like 75% paint, 25% thinners, but what you're going to do is move a lot closer. What you're doing at the moment, you're misting it, so what happens is it's drying before it hits the surface. Get a lot closer. You can do it because your paintbrush is technically going to, airbrush is going to struggle to atomize it. So you want to be closer and you put down a coat. Next one, go 50-50 mix, again, still quite close, and whip a coat over it. Then in with a hairdryer, dry it down, and away you go. But a lot of it is, if you're getting that sand texture, you're too far away, and especially in the weather, well, you're Australia, are you? Is it Australia? No, sorry, don't know where you are, George. But if you're like, and it's warm at the moment, and relatively there isn't much humidity in the air, if you're spraying from a distance, by the time it reaches the surface, it's already dry, and all what's happening is you're making sandpaper. So you just want to get in closer. So it might mean you need to turn down your air pressure, get in there a lot closer, heavy coat, put it down, and then in with a hairdryer. That'll stop any runs and any nasty business, and you can get it dried down pretty quick. How do you do yours, Steve? You're a white guy?
Yeah,
These are white.
use them about 60-40. Going, like I say, you have to be closer in than you usually are. Because, like I say, it's drying. But I do like to put a little. Now I've started just putting one drop of retarder in, and it does wonders for your paint. It comes out smoother, it goes down nicer, the finish is nicer.
So the thing is, if you do it, the great thing is that the retarder gives you that beautiful silky smooth finish to your paintwork. You know, if you noticed it, but it changes the look. It gives everything a nice satin look. Very nice.
So it's worth it. You know, you get yourself. I've got the little Vallejo, so it's a dropper bottle. But I'm just going to fill it up, decant other stuff in there. But one drop, you know, it's not going to break the bank, and it's worth getting. Just put it in your paint. No matter where you are, like George's had a look, it's in Glasgow, but in warm weather, it's essential.
Yeah.
Like all the guys who may live in Arizona or California in deserts, just put a drop of retarder and it'll work wonders for your paint.
Definitely.
That's my big discovery of the year so far.
Yeah.
Retard, start using that more.
Okay, so Josh says, hi Phil, working on the Rebel B1B and putting a lighting kit. I'm starting to lay out the lighting kit and need to cut the lights in the plastic model. What can I use to make the clear parts for the lights? Right, okay, you've got a couple of options there. One of them, which is what we did, is have a look obviously at the full build for the Typhoon, because that's got the full lighting set on it. I used the LED shape. You can actually shape and cut the LED. So for instance, the one at the bottom, which is like a triangle type thing on the Typhoon, is actually the LED, and then I just shape it. And that way you can paint it as well. So if you want it red, if you want whatever colour, so you can actually just put the LED through the hole and then blend it down. Obviously, if you don't cut into the actual element itself, or well, the diode itself, okay, but you can go right up to it and away you go. So what you can also do is I bought a series of LEDs, and you can buy big square ones. They call them square LEDs, and they are pretty chunky, right the way through to small little stick ones, little pyramid ones. You can actually buy them all pre-shaped, but then once I got them in there, I sand them into shape. But I've done it before. We did it with LEDs on the Suffer as well, and we shaped and blended them into the wings, into those pods on the side for the F-16, and we actually blended them all in and did them just like that. So you can physically use the LED as the clear part instead of round, or clear part, oversize it, put it in, put the LED into it, and then again blend that into the actual wing itself. So you could use clear sprue, you know, various bits and pieces like that to actually make the part, and then glue it on, and then blend and fit it in, mask it, spray your model, unmask it. You've got the light which is blended in and done with the LED into it. So personal choice, whichever you want to do it. But recently, I must admit, I've been actually cutting and sanding the actual LED itself. Okay, so, right, Peter says, during your build of the 190 using super glue in a pot, we covered that before. Thank you very much, we've done that. John Shorthouse says, hi Phil, just a quick one. Changing my bank account, PayPal, where do you need to do all the rest of it? Just do it all with PayPal. Go to PayPal, change your card on file with them in your PayPal account. Remember, don't send us card information, numbers or anything, because we don't see any of that. PayPal does it all for us, okay? So make sure you do it all through that one. Chrome paint, we've done that one as well. Steve Lamb, hi Phil, just received both the Bandai Boba Fett and the Scout Trooper bike. Will you be doing them? Yes. I think we're up to date with questions there, because we're up there now. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it as a bit of a one-day build, maybe even with Steve, off the back of us doing the thingamajig, the Dolphins. I think we're going to have a break, aren't we, Steve, and do some Bandai?
Yeah.
Just for a giggle?
Yeah, we'll have it'd be nice just to maybe 1 week just stick it together, and then next week and just fully paint it all.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Right, there we go. I think that'll do us for today. I think we're all up to date there. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to PC World. Thank you for Scan Computers for phoning me live on air. I was waiting for that. I was actually hoping for that. And or Scam Computers, as I now call
them. You want to be careful, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I haven't lied yet. So, yes. Anyway, hopefully... Hey, they might have been watching and suddenly thought, Jesus, We better do something. So, yeah, hopefully, if that does arrive tomorrow, what I'll do is I'm going to vlog it all now. So when it does turn up, you'll see it in the vlog. Now, I have done a vlog for today, this morning, but because I was on the phone to scan computers, I haven't managed to do part 2. So I might roll that bit over till tomorrow. So you might get 2 bits in the vlog tomorrow. Because I did do it all this morning, spoke about all of this and all the rest of it. Or, I don't know, just do a fresh one tomorrow. There you go. Anyway, this Saturday, we're back again, aren't we, Steve? Is it this weekend?
It is, yeah. That means we've got a mask as dolphins up before.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
And that's quite a big job, actually.
It is, definitely.
Especially on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But luckily, good to his word, if for those who watched it last Saturday show, Andy brought me a roll of tape.
He did do it. Oh, bless him.
Yeah, he said he'd bring me a roll of tape, which is very kind of him. So I'll have another go at cutting circles. And I found the tightening bit, so it's all tight.
Oh, look, so you're all okay now.
Put a new blade in, so I'm all raring to go.
All good to go now. See? Sorted.
But I told it there must be, somebody bought it, mate, and there's about 7 spare blades inside it.
Yeah, you get them inside. Mine's the same as yours, but I think mine's just different colour, is it? So. Mine's slightly different, but yeah, I've got blades. It's in this little thing in here, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's a Pat P.
Yeah,
they're actually a useful tool, but to be honest, if you use a brand new blade, you don't need it with this. You can just cut a circle out using this. These are absolutely brilliant. You can see where the compass cutter's gone round in the little groove.
Yeah, it has got that nice little curve in there and all the rest of it.
But you can see also where it's slipped. But it'd be interesting to know how. Oh yeah, you can see there where.
So I can see all the blades in there. I just don't know how you get into it.
Yeah, you've got a.
I can't get actually into mine. Get in there.
Oh, you mean but you can't get the black bit thing off?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm in.
Oh, I had to use a screwdriver to get mine.
Yeah, that's what I've just done with mine. Oh yeah, I've got a little bag full. God, I've got loads in there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little silver packet full of them. Crikey. Wow. Oh yeah. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10 spare blades. See, who knew?
But what I didn't do last time, I just kind of set the size, didn't we? But we should really go by. Set it to the.
It.
Well, you can use the circle on here as a guide. Set it up to.
Yeah, in my defence, I didn't totally wing it. I did actually measure with my calipers, and then I transferred it onto here, and I can't remember what it was now. It was 13 mil or something, wasn't it? So that's actually how it worked. I can't remember what it was now, but I was quite professional, or tried to be. I did actually put calipers on mine and had a look, see what it was. It wasn't a total wing it.
Mine was.
I've just got my tape still on by the time we come to paint it, because I'll never be able to cut them so precisely again and get them to fit. So never mind.
I know I didn't manage mine because I didn't have the right tape, but that's all set up.
Yeah, you'll be fine now, look.
I found it kept jumping out.
Yeah, you need to keep it more in the vertical. Don't let it sort of roll off to one side because it jumps out a bit. I tend to keep mine up and just I went around about 4 times, just lightly going.
Yeah, that's all set up in one of the ridges now, so that should be okay.
Yeah, so you give yourself a nicer cut, because mine wasn't quite in the ridge and I've chiselled it a bit now, going round.
Yeah, but the problem, the hard bits, like I say, on the top, there's that funny pattern, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be quite tricky to mask.
Yeah, it's going to be quite tricky to mask that and blend that to get a nice sharp line on it, definitely.
Yeah, because it's kind of a round at the front and then it comes and...
Yeah.
And then obviously getting the band on the side, which is 23 mil, is it?
Yeah.
So I've got that.
But it's not perfect, 'cause it's going over that metalwork as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh well, it'll be fun.
I can't find the deer calls for it.
Oh, great.
Mine's got, and it tells you how wide it. Oh, it's here, look. I really need a deep clean myself, Phil.
Well, do you want me to come round? I'll do Mrs. Mop bit.
I'll take you for a burger as a thank you.
Oh, go on then. Deal. God, I'm cheap.
And you can have it. I'll let you have an extra burger in it as well.
Oh God, I'm so cheap. I'll be there. It'll be worth the 7-hour drive.
Yeah, but yeah, it says you can see 23 mil. Got the back. Yeah. It's that roof. What we're talking about, if anyone's. Find it. it doesn't show it all the way, but on the top, you can see how the circle is there. That's the trouble we're going to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Good job not doing the LA one next to it.
Yeah, not doing the LA one. Definitely not.
Just because it masking, yeah.
Right, there we go. That'll do us for today. So say, join us. We're going to be on 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I can't tell you which computer we'll be running it from. Probably this one, actually, because I don't trust the other one. So join us for that one. And we'll be on until 11 or 12 or 1 or whatever. Funny enough, Mel came home from work last week and said, oh, you finished then? I said, well, it is 2 o'clock. She goes, well, I know you lot when you get going. So I was like, all right, okay. So yes, we'll be on. So you can join us bright and early for that. Obviously tomorrow you're going to get the next part of this, which generally talks about the weathering, doing the markings and everything else like that. That'll get you up to speed on there. I'm going to push on with this one now this afternoon. Mind you, we're getting late now. Probably not. I'll do a little bit more to this one. Get this one sorted up. And then, as I say, I might even as early as tomorrow start on that tank and have a run through it. Depends if my computer turns up and I might have to fiddle with that again. So there we go. Never mind. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to the... How many of us watching us live? I can't see. My eyes are going a bit. It's a long way off now. I think that's 156 of you are watching live. You're mad. Go to work. You can watch this as a recording later. Never mind, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much, Steve.
It's okay.
I will see you soon. Where's the outro bit? Hold on. There we go. Down there somewhere. I've got to remember on this computer. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.
Bye.